both worlds that way. Yeah, right. I'm on the control room just to check that it all comes through.
Yeah,
Looks
so
like it is.
we should be live now. So yeah, I guess just make sure everything is fine in terms of volume and stuff. I mean, there'll be a delay, obviously,
Yeah.
in the time that we.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I can still see it's the thumbnail from last week. Thumbnail
Yes.
background. Sorry.
Yeah. We'll have to find a new one, and you can do it
What
with
are we gonna
us.
do? Dear audience, don't get too excited.
What are you talking? Were you trying to? Are you mocking me?
No.
Are you mocking the way I
Sure.
talk?
No, I'm not.
I'll knock you clean out, bro. Alright. Drive. I need to get off the...
Why can I hear you? Where's this coming from?
You can hear me twice, can you?
Yeah, it's no,
Probably
it's
because you've
it's
got
the
it
stream.
playing. Yeah.
I must have a tab open somewhere.
Yeah. You
I'm one
just
of those
can't get
people that
enough
has
of
like
QRP.
500 tabs. Yeah, that's right. I've got to double up on my own content.
How else do we get views?
Yeah, that's true. F5, F5.
But yeah, cool. Well, does it sound
I
alright
wonder
though?
if this would be. Yeah, it sounds. Oh, that's a good point actually.
It's kind of the whole reason you were doing that.
I didn't know. I gotta just heard you tell me you were gonna knock me clean out again. I have to relive that trauma.
Okay, so what while you're listening and talking, what's the fucking
The theme.
yeah, what's the theme for this episode? Are we doing like should we get like a Gamescom like background or something?
Actually, you know what? To be fair, just download the thumbnail from the video. Just use that. I meticulously crafted that thumbnail. Just use that.
Oh, okay. Is it in the drive, is it?
It's not in the drive, but if you just go to the like if you just go on to edit the video, you should just have an option to download it. But in the meantime, I'll like just send it over to you in a file in case that doesn't work.
Thumbnail download. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Dex.
Wonder
I'm
if.
just gonna call it Dex Masterpiece.
Thank you, dude. It is pretty good. It's got shadows. It's got. I tried
Look at you.
bevels. I tried using a bevel on the text, which makes it on the photos, which makes it look like it's propped up. You know.
Yeah.
Graphic art. Any graphic artist watching this are going to be cringing. What is he on about?
Yeah.
I don't even know if bevel is the right word. I'm pretty sure it is.
Which one was? Oh, I called it. Yeah. I called it clickbait last time. I was like, which one's our background? Because like I called the layer clickbait. All right.
It's so shameless.
Yeah, image. Browse. Oh shit! I just realised I haven't got my laptop plugged in and charging. I should do that.
Yeah, you should.
Before
Don't
the
want
whole
you.
screen
Don't want our.
collapses in on itself.
Yeah. Don't want our producer dropping out. What am I going to do without my executive chief of coordinating
Right,
officers
stop sucking me
producer?
off, dude.
No, I will not. I will never stop.
Okay, alright, I've blocked our
You're
faces
going to be so
temporarily.
dehydrated. Right.
We are... I think that's it. Yeah, we're here.
Okay, I'm waiting just for the. So backgrounds or sort it is. Oh yeah, I can see you messing around with it now.
Yeah, background is sorted. It's not, obviously it's not perfect, but it's fine. You got Pentiment underneath you, I've got Forza Motorsport underneath me. And I don't want to be affiliated with Pentiment, so...
Jesus. This kid. Well, just as well, because we've got a bit of Redfall to talk about later. That's fun.
You're going to
Game
get
that everyone
spicy
hates.
with Redfall again.
Yeah, I am.
Oh
You know
dear.
it. You know it, dude. You gotta be able to
Um,
start. I'm gonna stand for that game.
Before we get into it, I got a new phone.
Did
Check this
you?
out. Yeah, look how big this is. It's a big boy. Look,
Oh, hang
that's
on.
the size of my hand. It's literally the length of my hand.
Okay, hang on. I'm on this. Let me look on Discord. Oh right, was it the new Pixel? Did you say?
Yeah, Pixel 6 Pro. Yeah.
All right.
I just
So
got it
what?
on
It,
like
it
a...
popped up.
What?
Got to know what?
Oh, I was about to say, I just got
I
it on
was
like a really sick like deal. It was like, because they're
nice.
normally like 880 like retail, and it was like 180 off
Blech.
on like a discount. That's cheap, man. iPhones are like £1,200.
You got an iPhone 8. Look at the size of it.
Yeah,
It's tiny.
it's tiny. Yeah, but I like big phones. You like small phones. I like big phones. We're quite the opposite.
Like, what do you do to get use out of a big phone?
Well, I just like if I'm like watching a video or just browsing feeds, social medias like Instagram, TikToks, and stuff like that, and like just reading articles, all that sort of stuff. I just like having a bigger screen.
Articles, yeah.
Yeah, my articles, my arsticles. And yeah, man, it's pretty cool. Yeah, basically, I just got it on a really good deal, and there was like an option to trade in my old, because I always get Google Pixels. I could trade in my Pixel 5 for an extra like £270 off this one as well. So I ended up getting it for like under 400 quid, and it's like a brand new, like top of the line phone. So.
Nice.
And then I just pay like a really cheap SIM only contract, because that's the way to do it, fellas, ladies, and gentlemen.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. Don't be fooled. Don't go to an Apple shop and buy a phone, source your own shit, and then get a nice SIM from someone.
Like why would I pay like a £40 a month contract when I can just spend like a lump sum, like 400 quid, and like £6 a month? It's just like over the course of 2-3 years, you save so much money. It's fucking crazy.
That's what I ended up doing. I think I told you, I ended up just down. I came to the end of my contract, and they're like, "Oh, you can upgrade." And I was having a look at the options. I was like, "I'm just gonna pay more. I'm not doing this. I'm just gonna keep my phone, and I'm just gonna like get a different like." So I went from paying £25 a month down to like £7 a month, with unlimited data. And it's not unlimited; it's like 8 gig or whatever. So it's more than enough than I need. So
yeah.
Working from home and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Bloody phones, eh?
Right. You love them. You need them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. You do need them. Shall we click the button then and get jingling and get going?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I guess we're ready to go. All right.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a jingling, dude.
It's a jingling. Nice. Welcome, amigos. Thanks for coming today on this wonderful Sunday. My name's Deck.
And my name's Tim.
And we have the Quick Resume Podcast. If you haven't been here before, this is our second attempt at live streaming, so go easy on us. Honestly, it was a lot of fun last week, wasn't it, Tim?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought that overall the vibe was just a bit different, and I think it just kind of fit the show a little bit better. Just doing it live streaming like this. So, yeah, definitely.
I agree. But I mean, if you're here for whatever reason, and you prefer to listen on podcasts, don't forget that we'll have it uploaded on popular podcast services everywhere, usually by the end of the day or sometime tomorrow, whenever MP3 downloaders let me get them, because it takes ages to buffer. Before those websites are like, "Oh, it's not done yet." And I'm like, "It finished 6 hours ago." Like, come on. So yeah, that's the deal. I don't really know what to start with. We've got quite a few little things to go through, and then we've got some bigger things to go through. Okay. But let's maybe talk about video games.
Video games? What are those?
Little suggestion: video games. Yeah, I think. Don't know sometimes. Sometimes I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I know that feeling.
All right. Well, what have you been playing then, Tim?
This week I have been playing. I'm just trying to think. Obviously, we carried on the binge on Monster Hunter Rise. We're enjoying that a lot these days. Playing that a lot. I've actually been playing some solo as well, because I've been away. With my partners a little bit.
Me too.
So, and I have to admit, I've been playing some of the, those new quest types they put in, where you go in with an AI member as well. You pick AI to come in with you. And it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty nice to do, and it's just like I can like pretty safely take on like a G rank monster because I've got the help of these AI, which are actually pretty good. They're actually pretty good AI in terms of like they heal you when you need healing, and like they mount monsters and they set traps, and they actually do good damage overall. And yeah, I just feel like it makes it a bit more accessible, that sort of like level of difficulty if you're playing solo, rather than like if you just open up a lobby, you just kind of have to hope people will come in, and then you have to hope they'll also like the quest that you put up, which is obviously for the materials you need. Then you'll probably need to stuff for them. It's a bit of a ball ache sometimes, and I feel like this is quite a nice way around that. So yeah, I've basically just been playing Monster Hunter, and I'm just trying to think on my Xbox what I've been playing. Did we play anything on Xbox this week? I don't think we really did we?
So
no, yeah. So I think this week for me it's literally just Rise. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of it as well. I'm doing a bit solo. I've just been doing like quests to like get stuff. There's some where you get like those petalace things. Some from the Kirk. I did the Teostra as well. Sorry.
You dick.
But the good thing is that the Hunter rank unlocks after you do that. It goes up to Hunter rank 999. So it's just smooth sailing after that. None of this level gating bullshit. So yeah.
Well, I don't think they level gate you past the initial one, but for some reason the initial one.
No, it doesn't seem to be.
Like, I think everything I built up before the Teostra, like when I beat the Teostra, I should just go to like 46 or 47 or something like that. But it's just for the first one, it didn't do that, which is just really weird. I don't really know. Yeah. A bit odd.
I don't know either. But then other than that, what have I been playing? I played like. Nothing has changed since last week, so if you've already been here, nothing's really changed. I'm still playing Cyberpunk. I told you I'm at the last mission, but I'm just kind of running around doing my own thing now, and I'm still having a good time. I'll give my final, sort of score or thoughts when I do finish up. But I could finish it at any moment. I'm just kind of enjoying running around, leveling up, doing some of the side quests and stuff, getting more loot, getting some cool weapons. The loot is really good in that game. It's like surprisingly good.
Okay. Nice.
There's a lot of variety. A lot of the like legendary, where like the exotic equivalents are like quite nicely varied. They look different. They perform different. Yeah, just cool stuff.
Does it come mainly as like world drops, or does it come mainly in like quest rewards and stuff? That sort of loot.
It's either. Yeah, some of them are drops. I'd say half of them are like drops, and then the other half is like kind of in the environment. You just kind of find them while you're on a mission. Like if it's, you like infiltrate a base, and then you get to the top in the control room, and there's like a really good weapon lying there where where the chief would have been or something. Yeah, so that's kind of how it sorts of works.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good though. Yeah, it's cool. And then I think I said last week I played some of that. How do you even say it? Eiyuden Chronicles Rising game.
Oh yeah.
The only reason I did that is because I needed, what would you call it? Like the Microsoft stuff. I needed to get achievements, and that was one of the top 10 picks. I was like, two birds, one stone. But it was alright actually. I mean, I'm probably not going to go back and play it, but I was like, probably played like 3 or 4 hours overall. It was alright. It has a really catchy jingle, like a really catchy, like it's infectious. It's still in my head. It's like burrowed deep into my temporal lobe. It's horrible.
I mean, JRPGs are fantastic with their music most of the time. Yeah.
So that's been me. That's been us, really. I guess a bit. Well, I say a bit bland, but like, Monster Hunter's just so good.
It's so good. It's like the most timeless. It's the most timeless video game I've ever played. Like I just think it's. I don't know, man. Like
it's just so good.
Yeah, if there's just anything that can get me back into gaming, like if I ever fell out of gaming, like I just got a bit older and I just stopped gaming, like if there's anything that would ever get me back into it, it would just be like a new Monster Hunter game or something, and just hitting the grind on that. It's just so good. Yeah, it's like it's a nice mix of just being like chilled out, but also quite like difficult and like quite hot, like blood pumping at times. It gets quite intense as well, but it's also really chill, and it's also like it's just got like everything to it. Like it's just got good systems, great weapons, and if you start feeling stale, you know, you got like 15 different other weapons to choose from that could just completely feel different. Like we've recently done that. We switched up weapons, haven't we? And it just feels like a new game. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's quite funny actually because last week we were talking about like we were like getting early onset arthritis because of the shape of the Switch and everything, and then we both went away and bought like grips
Yes.
for the Switch.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
which was a lot better.
they are better.
Yeah, well, hopefully, if we get some time again this week, we'll have to play again together because we had like we played for a day or something, didn't we? And then, or like you know, like over lunch maybe a hunt or two, but then we've both kind of been busy.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, and actually, do you know what? I was even suggesting, well, two things. The first thing I was thinking of is that I do like a lot of what Rise has done. I don't love all of it. Other things that I really do like the. I can never remember the name of the bugs.
Wire
wires, what are they called?
Wire bugs.
Yeah. I really do like them. I think they're very, very cool. I think it's a nice way. It's a nice grounded way to add some flashiness to, you know, either moves or mobility. Because I wasn't sure on them when we first started playing. Whenever it came out, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago. But they've really grown on me. So I'm gonna miss them because it's not likely that they're gonna hang around. But yeah, I think they're really good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could see it sort of being implemented into the next Monster Hunter because you can kind of see the transition they made because there was a little bit of that in World with like grappling onto monsters and grappling onto the environments and stuff. You had your grapple hook, and then they just kind of developed it into wire bugs. So it's just like maybe they will just keep it. You know, maybe it's just like the evolution they were looking for, and now everyone likes it. And
it's not impossible. It's just they just don't have a history of doing that, do they? You know, you think about Generations, and I had the 4 styles per weapon. It's just they tend to make these more arcadey, and I do like that it's just that it adds another layer of like freshness and like it expands the movesets a bit more, and it gives them a very easy way to update. Like with Sunbreak, here's 2 more, you know, wirebug moves. But at the same time, I do think. Can you hear that? Can you hear kids screaming? So if you can, I'm gonna shut my windows. Yeah, okay.
yeah, I can hear them screaming. Yeah.
What's that?
But yeah, I mean, off the back of what you were saying, yeah, it's just really easy to just add additional content as well to it because like that in itself, just those 2 new wirebug moves per weapon has made every weapon feel that a little bit more fresh again, which is quite nice.
I suppose the only problem that I think we've run into because of what they've wanted. Oh my god! He slapped my mic. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Proper
I'm
such an handsy speaker, you know.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? They've like some of the moves they've put in have like distilled the I've like distilled the variety of the weapons down a little bit. It's like one weapon has an aerial move. All weapons have an aerial move. All weapons have a thing that you jab into them, and then you hit the thing that you jabbed into them for more damage. All weapons have a counter. Like so, it's cool in some senses, but in the other sense, it takes away weapon identity a little bit.
Not all weapons,
you know, like
have a counter.
No, but you know what I mean. Like there are a lot of shared elements to a degree. So yeah, but I do like it's just like aesthetically and like I think it just fits it really well and gives them that extra sort of gameplay system, adds that extra level of flashiness, which I think is nice. Sometimes it's fun, but we will have to see.
Yeah, definitely.
And the other thing I was going to say, man, is just because just while we're on the Monster Hunter train, if whenever we're done with Rise or whenever World 2 is announced or whatever it is, and we want to get back into Monster Hunter again, because we always find it really hard to get back into World simply because I think it's probably not just a World thing, but generally just getting back into Monster Hunter at the end is hard, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to be like, what was I doing? Where am I? And you've lost a lot of your muscle memory, so like you have to like readjust. It's really hard.
Yeah.
So at some point, when any of those aforementioned things happen, I'm okay with just starting a new save file on World, just starting from zero.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be totally okay with that. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird
I
though.
prefer to do that.
I never really felt like we had that issue with Rise coming back to it as much. Like, I feel like we kind of came back into it quite quickly. Quite.
I think there's a couple of reasons. I think the first is that we weren't as far ahead in Rise as we were in World. In World, we were
Yeah.
like Endgame, Elder Dragon, like what were they called? No, they weren't Apex.
Um,
Tempered.
Tempered. Yeah,
Yeah, we were hunting them, and they were really like bone crunchingly hard.
yeah,
The other
yeah,
thing is, I don't think Rise is as hard. I think Rise is probably the easiest Monster Hunter has ever been.
yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah, yeah. Rise is quite easy. Hmm.
Which is again one of the other trade-offs of the wire bugs. But
Mm.
yeah, it's Monster Hunter. Just round of applause, really. You know, for that series, we are like dead happy that that series has had a lot of success. Had loads of sales as well. There was a report earlier in the week, wasn't there, about how well it had done?
Yeah, I think it's
5 million sales or something.
I think it's on over 10 million copies.
10 was
Just
it? Wow.
yeah, over 10 million copies overall, and I think Sunbreak's opening weekend got like 2 million sales as well or something. So it's pretty crazy. I mean, just to say that 1/5 of your overall player base has bought the expansion within like a weekend of its release is pretty impressive. Yeah,
definitely.
there's some pretty nifty stats for sure.
Now get it on Xbox, get it on PlayStation.
Yeah, I would gladly start another file and play. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, hopefully if they do that with Rise, they totally won't. But like they would like allow you to like bring a save file over. But yeah, they totally won't.
Yeah, Nintendo wouldn't do that.
No. Yeah, they wouldn't.
Yeah, okay then, wicked. So I just wanted to mention before we sort of go into sort of the bit the little crumbs of news before the big ones.
Yeah.
I've been having a drink, Tim. Not an alcoholic drink, just a drink.
Oh, jeez, thank God. I thought you were slipping down there, the slippery slope again, dude.
Yeah, alcohol down the gates of alcoholism. Ah! You probably saw me drinking it earlier, and I've become like obsessed with this brand of drink. And I think I've told you about it before. It's called Fentimans. Heard of Fentimans?
Fentimans? No, I don't think you told me
Fentimans,
about
yeah.
this. No.
You can find it. You can find it in the store. It's just like, and the little logo is like a little wolf, and they usually sell them in like glass bottles.
Okay.
And this one is sparkling raspberry. They also do like Curious Cola, and they do
Yeah.
rose lemonade, which is like it tastes a bit like like rose, but I always think it tastes like Turkish delight. But
Okay.
That's loves that stuff. I recently ordered 8 big bottles from Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what possessed me, and then I ordered 12 small bottles from Amazon. A single order. I've never ordered drinks from Amazon before, and I think maybe it is a sign that maybe it's a cry for help.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, is it cheaper to buy from Amazon than it is to buy them in the store, is it?
It was, but some of the flavors you can't really get around here. Like I ordered like cherry cola, which I've had once before, and was like magnificent. That was
Yeah.
like a good price. It was like £2 a bottle, whereas when you find that in the store, it's like £3.50.
Yeah.
Whereas
Okay.
this, I'm finding in store for like £2.90. On Amazon, it comes out for like £4 a bottle, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah.
Anyway, just some
Interesting.
fun I've been having. If Fentimans sponsor us, I will take that.
Yeah. It sounds like a nice little summery drink as well. It sounds like a great drink to have in the
so
summer.
good.
Yeah.
It's,
Have you tried,
it's
like-
such a good stuff.
Have you tried mixing it with like anything like Southern Comfort
I
or
haven't
like
actually.
rum or anything like that? It'd probably be quite nice, to be honest.
Yeah, they say on when I was on the Amazon page, they were like, oh, perfect for a summer with gin. But I'm not really
Ooh,
a gin guy.
Yeah, gin would go well with it. Yeah.
It would go well with it. Yeah, I'm not sure if maybe Southern Comfort, but yeah, I don't know about.
Yeah,
like,
probably not rum. Yeah.
Maybe with a cola, actually. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's just because like you have Coke. Coke's fine. Coca-Cola, yummy. But then you have like a botanical cola. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
like you're drinking like a flower, and you're like, oh my god, I'm one with the earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
for
what
sure.
it's like.
Yeah, those little fancy soft drinks are so nice. Yeah, I have to admit. Yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so I just thought I'd take advantage while the sun's out. Because if you don't know, if you're listening and you're not from the UK, or maybe you are from the UK, you know it's a tad warm.
It's very warm. Yeah, I found it extremely warm today. Like this morning, I literally woke up like sticky, like with sweat. It was gross. I found it really hot
Yeah.
this morning. But yeah, we're going through a little bit of a heat wave at the moment, which is nice. I spent the day out in Brighton on Friday and had a great time. So,
Lovely.
you know.
Oh, you watched Thor, didn't you?
Yeah, I did watch Thor. Yeah, I was literally going to throw that in right before we got into the episode. It's like the longest intro ever. Yeah, I watched Thor. I'll keep it short and sweet. It was good, man. If you like Ragnarok, you're going to like this. You know, it's just like really similar vibes from that director, like Taiti Waki, whatever his name is. What's his name?
Waititi.
Yeah.
Waititi.
Yeah, it's super funny. It's just doesn't take itself seriously. It's just a good time. Christian Bale does a really good villain as Gore. He's like surprisingly really kind of creepy and quite menacing. Like I wasn't expecting him to be like as good as that. Yeah, man, solid movie. And Ragnarok was one of my favorites before, and I think this one is. It's not as good. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, yeah, it's definitely a step in the right direction for Marvel because they've been a little bit meh recently, apart from No Way Home. They've been a little bit meh.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Cool. Sounds good. Yeah. All right. Let's get into some of the bits and bobs then. Like I said, there are just there's a handful of small things I wanted to go through here, and the first is because we've got to pay our tributes. You know, we've got to bend the knee. We've got to salute sometimes.
No, I heard about this.
Like the artist and the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, Kazuki Takahashi, has died at 60 in a snorkeling accident, and that just
Don't
sucked.
laugh when you say it, dude.
I just
Come on,
no,
man.
shut up. I looked up and you were saluting. Like I didn't realize you were saluting with me. Like she just caught me off guard. Obviously, like fucking tragic because like the impact of like the Yu because I was thinking about this. The impact that Yu-Gi-Oh had on us was probably like a big influence into what we ended up doing and what we ended up liking. You know, we like high fantasy stuff, we like dark fantasy stuff, and a lot of that is definitely influenced by the universe that Kazuki wrote with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Never really got into the show that much. I know I had a friend that did, but you know the
Me neither.
Yu-Gi-Oh had its very own style, and even into like Japanese stuff, right? You know, so it's damn shame.
Yeah,
it's damn
dude.
good creative.
I'm gonna get home, and to tribute him, I'm gonna frame Man-Eater Bug and put it on my wall.
Yeah,
It's the best card.
I feel like there's maybe a better card.
No, Man-Eater Bug.
Not like
Penguin Soldier.
Like Ra, or what was he called? Slytherin? No, what was it? Scyther. No, what's he called?
What?
Not Slytherin or Scyther. You know the gods in the show. They were like gods. There's Obelisk. there's
Zodia.
Ra. No. You know there was like Ra, that was the big like bird thing, and it was yellow.
Yeah.
There was Obelisk, who was the big muscly blue boy.
Yeah.
And then there was a third one, and he was called Slyther?
I don't know.
Egyptian, you don't remember?
No, I don't remember. I'm not just pulling your leg. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you.
Slifer. Alright, there we go. Slifer.
Okay.
Slifer the Sky Dragon.
Nice.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go and frame Trap Hole, a Monster Reborn. But yeah, it's a shame. And actually, do you know what? Speaking of cards, look what I've got here.
Yeah, I saw you use. Oh wait, no, I don't know what that is. I saw you sent me a picture that you got some Magic cards.
I've got Mum and Dad have been dropping off a load of stuff, like baby stuff, obviously, and so so I've been going through boxes and stuff, and I've got all my cards. I've got a chest full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you know, Pokemon cards or whatever. My dad, being my dad, back in the year 2000, bought 5 first edition Team Rocket Pokemon cards. These are unopened.
Yeah. Have you looked how much they're worth?
They're worth about £150 a pack.
What? You're joking?
I'm not joking.
That's mental. So you just got like 600 quid just chilling there.
I'm gonna burn them live on stream.
Nice, dude. That'll get us some viewers. That'll bring in at least 3 viewers. Totally worth.
You'll bring in 3 viewers and a whole bunch of depression.
With so much depression. Oh, that's crazy. 150 a pack. That's mental.
Pretty mental, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna try and sell one and just like test the waters and see sort of what it's like. Because when I'm searching on eBay to see they are around, but I've seen maybe 3 other sellers that have them. So that's where I'm at, really. I'll just see what kind of happens and go from there.
That's pretty cool. Nice bit of cash flow coming in. Daryl coming in clutch.
Hopefully. I know Daryl. He does that. He does do that. And do you know what? It's made me think, because there's a guy when I was looking on eBay who has a whole box. You know, like the boxes behind the shelves that have like 40 packs.
Yeah.
Of these, and he's just selling them one at a time. Like he bought them 20 years ago, and he's just sitting on them now. And I'm like, bro, maybe I should just splash out 40 quid on some like limited edition things and just give it like just put it in a box somewhere and bury it.
Yeah, it's passive income, dude. That's it. It's done.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, because he does also he did the same thing with some Yu-Gi-Oh cards like back when I was really little as well, and they were like first edition like Yu-Gi cards from Japan. Like he bought them when he used to fly for work.
Oh yeah.
He got them from Japan, and he has them somewhere as well, so they're going to be worth a lot.
Wow.
So that's going to be my job for today: try and sell these and get some cash.
Nice, dude. Sounds fun. Sounds cool.
I have to weigh them at some point. People do that. Did you know that? People weigh packs to see
if there's like a shiny in it.
them.
Yeah, because the shinier cards will have a bit more weight to them, and stuff like that, because there's more like going on the card. Yeah, makes sense. Does make sense.
Yeah, it does. So, if anybody's very interested in some first edition Team Rocket, because this is the deck that has like Dark Charizard, Dark Pikachu, it has like the original like dark ones.
Nice.
So keep your eye on Amazon, not Amazon, on eBay. If anybody wants to fling me over a lot of money,
anyone wants to pay well over the odds for these, I'll happily take your money. Yeah.
Cool. So the next thing I wanted to touch on was I should have mentioned this before actually, but I played Overwatch 2 this week without my friend Tim.
Yeah.
It's not easy being me.
Yeah, so I was saying, because we have like the console sharing thing, we thought that maybe because he got access to the beta and he downloads the app, maybe I could as well. And we still have to test that theory. I mean, technically you have it to the 18th, don't you? Just like...
That's right.
Yeah, so, I mean, we can still test this theory when I get back on like Monday or something. Or even tonight, to be honest. But because I've only got an Xbox One X here at my partner's house, so I think it's because you got the Series X version, I'm not seeing it in my game library. Maybe. I don't know. Because when you sign up for the beta, it asks you what platform you're on, and I think you can select like PS4 or Xbox One, or you can select Series X, or you can select PS5. So I think they give you different clients based on that. I think
what you could do is, if you go on the Xbox store, just on the website, just log in and see if it pops up, and then it'll give you an idea if you have ownership of the app, and then we can go from there.
Yeah.
I mean, what can I say, man? I played it. If anybody's interested in Overwatch 2, I played it for probably like 2 hours, just to sort of give it a go, really, because I am interested. We've spoken about it on the show. We are interested, and it feels like Overwatch, and I mean that in the best possible way, because there isn't a single other competitive game that I've ever played where 100% of my focus is dedicated to winning the game. And that just speaks to the craftsmanship and how they've designed the objectives and, the scoreboards and the incentives and the heroes. You want to win. You're not there to get kills. Whereas when I'm playing Halo Infinite, I want to win. I'll take a loss sometimes if I can get an overkill, or if I can get a killing frenzy or a riot, This doesn't happen with Overwatch. And there have just been some nice changes that I saw. There was I was really happy to see that there was a closed queue, which was for like role queuing.
Yes, that was cool.
An open queue, so you could do both. I'm assuming both will be there for launch, but I think that's a great way to do it. If you want to practice for ranked, you can go into casual role queue. If you just want to play, you can go into open queue. The 5v5 felt pretty good, Tim, instead of the 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you were quite worried about that, weren't you?
Yeah, I thought it was a good idea in principle, but I wasn't sure because the idea is that there were too many tank builds going around and it made for long, drawn out fights. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was kind of the rationale. So that, yeah, it felt good. And a lot of the tanks have had like a marked buff. Like they do damage. Like they've always done a bit of damage, but they feel like they're a threat now. If you try and piss around in front of Orisa, she's gonna gun you down. She's gonna lob a spear in your face.
Yeah.
By the way, Orisa's new kit is awesome.
Yeah, she like does like
Awesome.
she can like spin her like spear around it, like deflect stuff or something. It's like a deflect
It deflects. It
mechanic.
pushes people back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool.
It's awesome. The only thing is that she's missing like the old gravity thing that she
I
used
was
to have. Which I
literally
thought
about
was
to
really cool.
ask. Yeah, the gravity ball
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
that's gone now. But what she does have in replacement is like just a projectile spear that she lobs and
It-
knocks back and does extra damage if they bump into a wall.
Yeah,
Um,
what character used to do that? Oh, I'm thinking of Anher.
Doomfist.
I'm thinking of Anher from Smite as well.
Yeah,
You used to just throw the javelin. It's literally exactly the same. You throw the javelin, it knocks them back, and then you start to do more damage if they hit a wall. It's like,
I don't think it stuns them. I just think it does more damage though. For
okay, but it's like the exact same ability basically.
Doomfist
Yeah.
did that. If
Yeah,
you charged up
Doomfist.
your punch, they would punch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you really get the feeling that a lot of the tanks are there. Like most tanks are like hybrid now.
Yeah.
Because it makes them more interesting to play. I think was the goal. But yeah, it feels good, and because we haven't played in so long, there's so many characters that there's like 6, 7, 8 characters there that I'm like I have no idea what these people do.
Yeah.
There
which
was
is a
like
cool
Echo,
thing.
who was like the robot, whose ult is to turn into someone on the other team. That's like one of those mirror kind of
Oh, okay.
types.
I didn't even know that guy existed. I didn't know that was a thing.
Like a robot. Yeah, she's like the robot. I think she's the narrator.
Was she in
That was
Overwatch
the whole
1?
thing.
Oh, okay. We just
Um,
never. No, okay.
No, yeah. There's a few like I'm struggling to put. a
You
finger
tried
on some
any of
other ones.
the like new ones, like that lady who can like apex slide, and she's got like that cool gun that like fires like a sniper shot.
Sojourn.
Yeah.
Sojourn. No, I didn't play her. But then there's like what was his name? Baptiste, maybe.
Baptiste.
Baptiste.
It rings a bell.
He was like kind of like soldier-like, but he had a few more defensive capabilities.
Okay.
He looked really cool, but I again never played him. So like he was in the Overwatch 1. I played Junker Queen for a bit as well. She's awesome. She's really cool. She's like
Okay.
damage over time base, which I wasn't expecting. Like she's
Oh.
got a throwing knife that applies damage over time. She's got like one of the other abilities is like a giant wind up melee attack, which I think that one applies damage over time. Ult applies damage over time. Melee's
Nice.
quicker, has a passive, just like little melees.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, she's very cool. Yeah, so and I like the new game mode as well. I'm not sure how the rest of the sort of community reaction is to the game mode. It's like a push and pull one. So like the robot starts in the middle. It's like tug of war, push of war, and you've got to. It's like with the escort missions, you've just got to push it as far back as you can, and then eventually, the enemy team will get advantage, and they've got to push it back, and it'll record the furthest you got for your team, and then whoever's got the furthest, but the most meters wins at the very end. But it felt good. I thought that game mode felt good, and the new maps felt good. It just all felt good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it feeling like Overwatch 1. We said that from the beginning.
Yeah.
We want there to be enough stuff feeling new, but I think what I had underestimated was the amount of stuff they've added since we stopped playing last time.
Yes. Yeah. Which feels all new to us still, doesn't it? Even though it's from the
Yeah.
first game, it's like we get a little bit extra, weirdly enough, for a lot of people that are still playing Overwatch. Yeah.
And then
definitely.
once you factor in like the changes of it's 5v5 instead of 6v6, there's new maps, there are like the new heroes, there'll be a battle pass, something else I'm missing as well. Oh, the reworks across a number of heroes, all of that. Like it starts to become like
Pretty
quite
decent
refreshing
package.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I sent you the message as well. That it's like, it felt really good to just boot up and still have access to all my skins. Like I was going through them, like, oh yeah, I remember this one. And like with Zenyatta, we played ranked. Do you remember? And we get ranked points, and you could buy a golden weapon for like whoever it was.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got the golden balls
Like
for
the golden
Zenyatta,
balls
didn't
for
you?
him. He's like,
Yeah, yeah. That was cool. Who did I get gold for?
I don't know.
I think I might have got the gold
Maybe a
Reinhardt
tank.
hammer. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
can't remember.
I can't remember. No, you wouldn't. I think Reinhardt was usually your go-to.
Yeah, I love Reinhardt. Um, yeah, I did like Winston. I definitely didn't get Diva. Did I get Orisa Golden Gun? I might have done.
Maybe.
I might have done Orisa. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, that was cool. Things like that I always like in games, like a little thing to chase, like from ranked. Like a really high end like cosmetic that you can just like show off. Like I think that's such an easy thing to implement, and I think it's just like a really good incentive to just keep playing. Sometimes that was the reason why I played ranked. I was just like, oh mate, ranked's toxic, but I want points to get a gold weapon.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you. So yeah, it all felt good. The only thing I will say that was like a little bit like lukewarm on was the visuals, and I know that sounds really weird because Overwatch has a very distinct style, but it just didn't look as like crisp as I was hoping it would be. I don't know,
yeah,
maybe
color palette
I've
looks
got,
a
like,
little bit more drab than the other one. Looks a bit more like
I don't,
neutral
yeah,
from what I could
I
see.
don't know. It's maybe it's just the nostalgia, or like maybe if I went back and played Overwatch, on my Xbox One or whatever, or just the first Overwatch, maybe it would look a bit not as tight, but I was just expecting it to look crisper. And again, maybe I'm coming from Halo, like people dunk on
True.
Halo, whatever. The multiplayer looks fantastic. Like I'm not going to accept anything less than that. Like it's 4K, it's 60. Like everything is so sharp on Halo. Overwatch is very noisy. Maybe noisy is the right word. It feels like a bit saturated, and that's kind of the style. But I don't know. I was just expecting it to feel a bit crisper. But everything else is phenomenal. It's Overwatch. The polish bar is very, very high. Didn't run into a single bug. Pit matches very quickly, especially in open queue. The music, they've like revamped a lot of the music, and the music sounds amazing. So
Nice.
yeah, keeping an eye on this one. Definitely excited for it. Hopefully we can get something together and actually have a couple of games together. That would be good.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we will this week. Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of Halo, just wanted to very quickly touch on it. The Fracture event has come back for the third time this week, so you have until Tuesday to finish that off. I finished it now. Yahoo, all great, so I can look like a coal miner. And I just very quickly wanted to bring up what they're doing with this, because I don't know if you've heard about this thing that they're doing, but they're introducing like storytelling elements kind of alongside these fractures. Because the whole idea of the fractures is that it's like, alternate universe, Halo, and they have like an explanation as to why these armors are the way they are. And I don't know what it was for the previous one, the Tenrai, but for this one, bearing in mind it's like a Fallout-y kind of, that's kind of the vibe. It's based on the idea that like Earth has gone through nuclear war, and the Spartans, the armor that you get are the Spartans are just it's obviously thicker and heavier because it needs to be anti-radiation, and the Spartans in like the fictional universe are still fighting just because they don't know anything else. Like all the governments have fallen, like they're not fighting for anyone, they're just shooting shit. They're like they're almost like brainwashed sort of thing. And in that universe, the Covenant is just Earth creatures affected by radiation, and I just thought it was kind of cool. It was just kind of a cool like little twist.
I
Because
like
like
that.
in that universe, I'm pretty sure we never, or like any hope of interstellar travel, got obliterated in the war. But what they've done, which is like, so firstly, the fact that that's so outside the game is a shame. Whipping up a 45-second, a minute cutscene just to like kind of immerse yourself in that would be nice.
Yeah.
The other thing they've done is that they're making this like story they're telling the story every time the fracture comes out, and it pops up on the little the latest news window when you're on the game, and it says click here to make a decision, and it takes you to the website, and you can essentially choose how the story is going to unfold, which is like a cool idea, but it's like all hidden outside the game.
Yeah. I hate having to click on something and it takes me outside the game.
Exactly.
It triggers me. Like, I think it's so annoying.
It's the whole Destiny thing, isn't it, with the grimoires?
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely a better way. Like, surely you can just bake it into like a new menu, like slot or something like that. You know, like a new tab to just be like, oh, season or event story or something like that, and just do it from within the app.
Yeah.
Like, surely there's a
Or
way to
just
do
like,
it.
or just give me some like different tool tips during the event, like during a loading screen, like pop up, like during the
Yeah.
war, you know, oh, this happened, or you know, just a bit of exposition, like through imagery, maybe, you know, again in loading screens, something like that. Like, put it in the game, because it's like it's cool. Like, you know, you start reading about it, you're like, oh, that's a very cool, like, interesting twist on what we know as Halo. But that's
Yeah.
about as far as it's going to go, because you're going to force me to go to Halo Waypoint and read paragraphs about it. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to skip over it, but that's happening.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I might hop on. Give it a go.
Tiny game. Tiny little tiny baby game.
Oh yeah, this is from the
got released this week.
indie studio, isn't it?
Indie, yeah, from Tiny Indie Dev Santa Monica Studios. Might have heard of it.
I don't think so. What did they work on? Did they make like? Oh, what did they
It
make?
works on Clod.
Clod.
Clod. Just Clod.
Yeah, no wonder why I haven't heard of them.
Clod of War. Yeah. So yeah, did you see the trailer for God of War?
I did. Yeah, I saw the little 30-second. Yeah, they kind of just talk.
It's coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out, and then it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, people are saying that you see Fenrir, which is kind of cool. I mean, people are theorizing it's Fenrir at least.
For sure is, yeah.
Yeah, which is quite interesting because obviously Fenrir is part of one of the 100 different ways Ragnaroks are caused. Because there's like so many different Ragnaroks. And it's pretty cool. Like, if Fenrir is going to be like the big sort of overarching like villain with like Thor, I think that's pretty cool, man. I think that could be quite a cool premise, to stop him like just swallowing the world, whatever he does.
Weird thing is that Fenrir is, not going to say canonically, but mythologically, Fenrir is Loki's son, right?
Son, yeah. No spoilers. Just in case anyone who hasn't, like, that's a massive spoiler. Like, you can carry on, but we'll just throw up the spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't played God of War. Yeah, just click away now, or just skip forward to the next timestamp or something. But yeah, exactly. Yeah. I did find that quite interesting. Yeah, because in the lore, yeah, Fenrir is Loki's son, and obviously Loki is boy. So yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work, but maybe they'll just take it in a different direction. You know, they can twist and change these things quite a lot. I mean, just Kratos being in that universe in itself is hardly fucking accurate, so they can kind of do whatever they want.
But yeah, I mean, well, Kratos is like, the Kratos they're using is like made up. I looked into this a while back because I was confused.
Yeah, I think Kratos does exist, and he was like the god of like Sparta or something like that. But he never became
speculative.
Yeah, he never became the god of war. He never was appointed that power and then killed all the gods. All that. That's all completely made up. But I'm pretty sure Kratos is a thing. But yeah.
Because if I remember reading about this, again, someone will have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was like a coincidence. That like, they named him Kratos, and then they were like, "Oh, that actually is like a figure from, you know, Roman mythology or whatever it is." Whatever time frame he's meant to be.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. I think he's real though. Like I said, I don't really know, but I think he is. I'm not sure if he was ever actually a god. I think he was just like a really sick like warrior or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. And I still am, to be honest, very surprised that this game is coming out this year. And it's quite exciting, man. Like,
I always thought it was going to come out.
PlayStation get another 9, 10 out of 10 game. So Because I mean, just based on its pedigree and the fact that it's just going to do the same as the first game, there is no way that game is getting below a 9, like anywhere,
No,
unless
I
they
don't think it will.
really fuck it up. But
I mean,
how could they?
the only thing, yeah, the only thing really is I think if they botched the story, because gameplay in that game is very, very good, and they got like these loot systems down. There was like loads of abilities and stuff. So the gameplay it stands on its own. Like, you can make a game out of that without a good story, and it would still be fun.
Yeah.
A big part of what made the game, it took it from an 8 to like a 9.4 or 9.5 out of 10. Was that the story was really good, and all the performances were really good. Performances will still be good. I'm sure they'll nail the story as well. So I suppose the only thing here that I really wanted to touch on is that if you remember when it got revealed, like, oh my god, I can't even remember when it was. Like, they showed off like snippets of gameplay.
Yeah.
And I mean, we mentioned it briefly at the time that there was like quite a lot of like reused animations.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is like, it's not really a big deal. But of course, people are taking this a step too far and being like, oh, it looks like DLC. And there we are.
Yeah, I mean, people are always going to do that. Yeah, I mean, there was literally like, just the way he fought was like exactly the same, and even some of the kill animations that he was doing on the enemies were like copy and paste from God of War. So I can understand why people are a little bit like that, but obviously your people always take it that little step too far. It's just like, it's not like they're gonna reuse some assets. Like, come on. Like, every game does it.
Can we think of a sequel to a game where there isn't any reused assets?
No, literally no.
I can't think of any.
Yeah, you could literally look back to any game from across anything. Halo, Gears, Spider-Man's, Horizons. They all do it.
Oh, let's look at Elden Ring.
Elden Ring takes so much from previous Dark Souls games and Sekiro and Bloodborne and literally everything. Yeah, it just wraps it into a perfect package really and just adapts them. Yeah. Do you think God of War could snatch Game of the Year? I don't think so. No, I think Elden Ring's got it. I just can't. Like, as good as God of War is, and probably will be, at the end of the day, it's a single player narrative, which I know a lot of people love, but I just don't think it can take the spotlight quite like Elden Ring did for like social media and just like its presence on the internet. Like, it was just everywhere. Every single streamer, every single YouTuber, all the builds, all the secrets. So I just don't think it will have the same presence, even if God of War smashes it. At least I hope not. Like, I think Elden Ring does deserve Game of the Year.
Whoa, Xbox shows his true colours.
I mean, I say it's so harsh.
They are green.
It's so harsh to say that Elden Ring deserves Game of the Year over Ragnarok, and Ragnarok's not even out yet. So I am being a bit biased. But I don't know. God of War's done it before. It's got Game of the Year before. Fucking give it to Elden Ring. Piss off.
I took it.
Piss off,
God
guys.
of War, I think, won over Red Dead Redemption on that year, I think, which nobody was expecting. So.
Okay. Yeah, who knows? But
I mean,
I'd like to think Elden Ring's got it.
I'm with you. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot I have to say about Elden Ring now, and I'm not going to do it right now because we're already a good chunk of time into the show. But
yeah,
like in summary, like, I feel a bit weird about that game in retrospect. Like, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I ended up like just doing achievement hunting, which I'm glad I did, but it became a bit of a chore list. Where I'm like, when I think back to the time I had with that game, I'm not like, the thing that comes to my head is like, oh my god, what a revolutionary game. I really don't know. And like, because I remember getting a bit fatigued and getting a bit like, I don't know, I guess I got like a bit salty over like having 600 videos in my subscription box a day. Like, this is what devs can learn from Elden Ring. And it's like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, so condescending. Like, it was funny at first when we had the whole like Ubisoft, what it would be like when Ubisoft made an Elden Ring. Like, that was funny at first, and we all understand the nuance and the direction of Elden Ring is that it doesn't hold your hand as much. But it's its own thing, and it just started to get a bit annoying that everybody was like, it challenges gaming conventions, and I'm like, I mean, does it? I mean, Dark Souls has been around for a long time. It's just
Yeah,
Dark Souls open world. Like, not to
exactly.
like take away from how good Elden Ring is, but it is just Dark Souls open world.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful formula, but that's I don't know. I've cooled down on Elden Ring quite a lot in the time since finishing it.
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I haven't even finished it. So I still need to go back and play it, but I kind of know what you mean. Like, there's a to me there's a like you said, Dark Souls open world formula, incredible. You know, on paper it's literally perfect. Like it's exactly what you wanted. But then it also just makes the game so much bigger and so much more intimidating as well. Like the thought of me going back to that game and playing it is just like, I don't know, man. Like I have thousands of things left to do in that game. Like, and it's just like, I don't know, that kind of makes me not go back and play it. Whereas, like, I went back and played Dark Souls 2 so much because it was linear and it was familiar and I could almost like speed run it like to an extent and stuff like that. At least that's the way I feel about Elden Ring. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just like it almost is too much. Like, and I haven't even like blitzed it and achievement hunted it like you did or something like that. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm a bit weird though. So
And no, you're not, man. I think I think so. This is interesting because this draws like a direct parallel to another little game recently we saw gameplay of, and everybody said, "Oh, it's too big."
oh,
Starfield. I'm talking about Starfield.
Redfall. Oh, stuff it.
Yeah, Starfield. Yeah.
That little one.
So that's interesting, right? That Elden Ring was not criticized for its size. In actual fact, everyone was infatuated by the fact that it kept going.
Yeah.
But now seeing Bethesda tackle something with a similar, well, I don't, I'm not talking like square miles, but like in terms of ambition and size, they're going for big. And by default, that's like bad.
Yeah.
It's just interesting, and I think to some degree, I'm gonna say it again, the zeitgeist that Elden Ring had in its time really helped everyone's perception of it. And I understand that's part of like the creative direction they wanted for that game. That's why there's asymmetric multiplayer. It's huge. You wander off. You get lost. You're like, I don't know where I'm going. This game sucks. And then your friend says, have you checked behind the rock in the cave on the northwest where there's a little girl dancing by a tree? And you go there and you're like, oh, this all makes sense. I understand that, and that is brilliant. Like, that's straight genius. Like, asymmetric multiplayer is awesome. But it's just the fact that I think that all happening in that, like you said, in that month or two, really amplified people's perceptions of it. So now when we're looking back in it in retrospect, and that's not really there, it's like, ooh, it's like a heavy meal.
Yeah.
Tom,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, for sure. And I think maybe it's just like a little bit of just Bethesda's like reputation as well to an extent. Like Bethesda don't make the most polished games. Like they are buggy, they are janky, and then when they say they're coming out with something so enormous, that reputation, everyone's just like, this game might be a mess, if it's that big and they're going for quantity over quality. So I think there is a little bit of that as well, maybe. But I mean, I don't have that opinion. Yeah. Like, I trust that they'll nail it, and they've made incredible games. But you have to agree that Bethesda do lack a certain polish with a lot of their games. Sometimes it's not, it's not quite to the extent like Elden Ring would be.
It's fair, I suppose. Yeah, I guess it's just a funny sort of discrepancy between if size is the issue, then it seems
size is always the issue.
Size, and that is a real shame. That is unfortunate for me, really.
Can we just live in a world where size isn't important, please?
Yeah, please, that would be great. Speaking of size, Tim, small things.
I want to
tiny things.
Keep it PG.
Don't always impress.
Okay.
Just sometimes a put out something unexpected. I'm of course talking about the Division Resurgence mobile game.
Yeah. So I
Hear
haven't
about this?
heard anything about this. I saw it on the notes during the week and I was like, what the fuck? I haven't researched it, so tell me about this. I just,
I mean,
what the fuck?
I don't know anything about it. All I know is that there's a Division mobile game. That's literally all I know about it. I think it's not like a port. It's its own game.
But they're keeping like a similar formula, like it will be like Division. They're not doing like an Elder Scrolls when they did Elder Scrolls Blades or something like that. Are they keeping a similar Division formula? They're keeping it as like a third-person shooter, like kind of open world, that sort of thing.
Co-op, yeah. I think.
Dude, that's so weird. What is?
It's so weird.
I don't get it.
So
I mean, I just got a new mobile to play the new Division game. To be fair, that's why I got this. I was kidding when I said I know nothing about it.
Diablo Immortal, yeah, you fooled us, Tim.
Yeah,
boy, we feel stupid.
Yeah, that's why I haven't been online all week. I've been playing Diablo Immortal on my phone.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, the game will feature an open world for players to explore, featuring solo and co-op content with modes lifted from the mainline games. There will be new gear and weapons to try out as well. I mean,
why?
I don't want to. Yeah, why?
Just I think the biggest question is just why. Like, I like the Division. Like, the Division they're good games, man. But like, just release another mainline on the platforms that you've done before. Like, why mobile? I don't get it.
I guess it makes sense in some sense because I don't think they're going to do another mainline Division. I'll be really surprised because the Division 2 was critically really well received. Yeah, it didn't do well commercially. You know, I think that the first one damaged the IP too much, and it got like it definitely had like a dedicated player base, but it never really got the friction back to get going again. So I guess they were just like, can we just flip a lot of these assets to make a mobile game? And this is where we have to try and not have blinders on, console blinders, and think about the bubble. Because to me, it's like Monster Hunter. We always said, why is Monster Hunter always on like PSP or a DS? This sort of game is not like good for portable. Portable games are ones you can like pick up and play. Monster Hunter locked into hunting a monster for like 20, 25, 30 minutes sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like deeply strategic. There's like a big meta game, like getting new materials, building the right things, getting the gems and the skills. It's not suitable for a portable console. Yeah. And Division kind of makes me think of that a bit because it's like, I mean, I guess this is the thing. Like, I just don't know. I'm just a bit ignorant about this because like I know shooters have come a long way for mobiles, right? Like Call of Duty mobile, like Apex, if they're working, then why not this? But I don't know. To me, I just don't know why I would ever touch this.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I just think the formula just doesn't suit mobile. It's just like you're not going to just hop in and it's the sort of game. Division is the sort of game where you sit down and you kind of grind it out. You spend a decent amount of time doing missions, collecting loot, making builds, all that sort of stuff. It's very in depth. It's not, unless they dumb it down like substantially. I just can't see it just being as easy as just whip out your phone and play it for 10 minutes, put your phone away, and then whip it out again for 5 minutes while you're on the shitter, and then like I just can't see Division just being that sort of game.
Had to throw that in there, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Everyone uses their mobile on the shit.
Do it while I piss nowadays.
Yeah, it's dangerous though. You might drop it in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on the design because like there was a period of time where I played it when we had stopped playing it, like me and you. There was like maybe a week where I just like booted it up and just like wandered around while I was listening to podcasts, pop people's heads, use my abilities. I never really went for any of the strikes or mainline missions or anything. I just kind of wandered around, and I think you can get some enjoyment out of that because I think like the actual like gunplay and the world design in the Division is so good. It's so organic and like the whole like enemy feedback. You shoot them, the reactions are like so good. Like, all of that feels so good. So I think there is space for it. I think to like just if you're like an 11-year-old kid and you just want to like shoot stuff, which that's like kind of what we did when we were younger as well. We don't really engage with the meta game. If somebody happens to drop a sick blue gun, well, yeah, people, you know. So yeah, I guess that's all it is. Like, let's test the audience of people who don't have consoles. Maybe they've heard of the Division. They like the shooties. Looks kind of like COD.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Maybe it'll do well
For us.
Yeah, I just can't really see it making a big splash personally. But mobile games surprise me in the weirdest ways sometimes. So. Yeah.
Speaking of big splashes.
Did you have a huge dump this morning?
Yes. The water went straight back up. And it was horrible. No. Skull and Bones got a re-reveal this week.
You know what they call
that game?
Sorry, just on the...
A name for it. Is there...
Yeah, it's called Poseidon's Kiss. if you plop a crap in the toilet and the water splashes your butt.
What do you mean they?
It's just that's the term. It's called a Poseidon's Kiss. How great is that name though? Just does a little kiss of water in your butt.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah. Speaking of big splashes, yeah, Skull and Bones, Tim. You remember it's that Ubisoft pirate game where you play as a boat.
Oh yeah, I remember this. This got announced ages ago, didn't it?
Yeah, it got announced just after Sea of Thieves, and it's one of those stories that makes me really fucking smug for knowing that there was something special in Sea of Thieves, despite the internet, let losing its shit because it wasn't a very particular type of game that they wanted to play. Skull and Bones got revealed like not long after Sea of Thieves, I don't think, and everyone was like, Sea of Thieves is dead now, I guess, because they showed off like some snippets of gameplay and it looked a bit rough, but generally there were like progression systems, like you get cannons, you can upgrade your fucking boat, like whoa, you buy. So it was that. It was a Ubisoft game. If the Sea of Thieves formula popped on top, it had vertical progression. You could get better and kill people who were worse. That was it. And then it got delayed. And then it got delayed, and then it got rebooted, and then it got delayed, and now we're finally back here like 4 years later. And it looks like fine, I guess.
Wow. I mean, so is it actually out, or is it like...
I don't think they gave a release date,
Okay, so it's just been sort of like, this is still coming, but like, obviously people have played betas and alphas.
Gave like a gameplay presentation.
Oh, okay, interesting.
What it is, and they showed off the systems. And it really is fundamentally, it's the same as Sea of Thieves in the sense that sail around. There's PvE.
Yeah.
The one thing that people wanted from this game was to be able to come off your boat and wander around.
Yeah.
But you don't. You play as your boat.
Great.
So you can come off at port and you wander around as your character to like go to the smithy or to like go to the fucking pet shop, I don't know, or like to go to the bar. So you wander around there, but there's no like foot combat. Like you don't walk around the ship. You get on and then you drive your ship like it's a car. And out of that, I think that was disappointing for a lot of people because a part of what people love about Sea of Thieves is that kind of free flow.
It blends both. Yeah.
Yeah, you get out, you go to an island. Because it creates a lot more of like dynamism in the gameplay, doesn't it? You get out, you launch yourself out a fucking cannon, you land on the top of a mountain, you're like, oh, there's a cave in there. You go in the cave, you misread what the tablet says, and then you can never forget. You can never forget what an idiot you were for making that such a mistake. No, it's okay.
Don't talk about that. It's between me and you.
Okay, you're right. Correct. I won't do that again.
But yeah, I know what you mean.
That's all right. It looked okay. Like there were some cool features in there that I'm like, oh, like that's kind of cool. There was like, I think they said that there was like kind of like a bounty system, which was kind of cool. I can't remember the details, so I can't give you any more. But there's stuff like, you sink ships and their loot floats to the surface and it stays there, and you can go back and get it. It's all very Sea of Thieves stuff that Sea of Thieves has been doing for a long time. But they've Ubisofted it in like. Yeah, so you get coins and you upgrade your things, and the customization looks really cool. Like, in terms of the stuff, you start with a small boat and you can upgrade to a bigger one, and you get crew on your boat. You like hire crew to come on your boat, but they're not like they're not personable or anything. They're just like person X and person Y that fires cannon X and Y.
Yeah.
And you sort of do the shoot. So yeah, it's sort of taken the Black Flag element from Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Mm-hmm.
Without the Assassin's Creed part.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Which I think is a real shame, because one of the things I always wanted from Sea of Thieves was more like mobility options, which we never got. I mean, we might do, they're still going, and I think this would have been a really good opportunity for them to have it. Because I remember in Black Flag, there were times where you were like sailing and you would go like parallel along another ship, and you could like climb the mast, and you could do like the Assassin's Creed parkour onto their mast and jump over it. It was fucking awesome. It was like so cinematic. There's none of that here. You play as your boat.
Yeah, it kind of just sounds like a worse Black Flag. It just sounds like it's a bit of an identity crisis. Just
right,
like, I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit weird. Like, I can kind of see what they were going for, but then they cut out such a huge part of what makes a game like that a lot more interesting. And then they're also releasing it in a world where Sea of Thieves came before it, and just kind of does it to a more laid-back, fun way. And this is like a more serious way. And it's like, does anyone really want to play like a serious ship-sinking boat game? Like,
well, yeah,
maybe.
It almost looks like they read through loads of the forum posts and the initial, like, let's say in the first 6 months, outrage to Sea of Thieves, and they made a game of it. And now that it's here, people are like, oh, maybe I didn't want that. You know, it's like there's a reason Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves isn't for everyone, and it has an angle, but it's very concise in that angle. It's very confident in what it wants to be.
Yeah.
Whereas this is kind of a bit of everything in it. Like, because one thing that really bothered me from the showcase here is that if you wanted to play with friends, you would each have your own boat.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, that really bothers me. Like, you don't share a boat. You go as a platoon of like 3 boats.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's like a bit lame, right?
It is a bit lame. Yeah. Agreed.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it looked that visually impressive either, considering it's a current gen only game. Like, it was never going to be as good as the water is in Sea of Thieves, but no, like some of the lighting looked good, some of the colours look nice because it's like in the Indian Sea and everything. I don't know. I just came away from it like
it's just
this looks fine, I guess. I wouldn't buy it if it was Games Pass. I'd give it a go. Yeah. Anyway, so that happened, and once again, I get to be fucking smug about Sea of Thieves
and you
being the
loved
best
it,
pirate game.
Yeah.
I do. I really do, Tim. I really do. Okay. What even? Oh, GOLLUM! Let's go.
Yeah, I still haven't seen this yet. It's been on my list to watch. But yeah, it's a GOLLUM gameplay.
Oh no, Tim.
Tell me that.
Oh no.
Tell me.
So they booted this up, and I was watching, and I watched like the first 30 seconds, and I was like, I mean, this looks alright. It looks pretty. They've done like a good job with the environments. Like, it's very Lord of the Rings inspired. It's very surprise. It's like dark fantasy, but it looks right. It was like I immediately was like, I'm in Middle Earth.
Yeah,
that was really cool. Like, they've done a good job, and there were some like novel environments there that felt like Middle Earth, but looked quite different to what we've seen before in like games. And then something happened, and I don't think I'm ever going to be able to recover fully. GOLLUM started speaking.
Oh.
And it sounds like Andy Serkis, but he's 16 years old, and he's had half a balloon of helium and he's hungover.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know what they were going for.
It's just really high pitched.
Does not sound good. He's really high pitched, and it sounds like it doesn't even sound close.
Weird.
I don't know.
I'm
Maybe they just thought
interested.
let's not try and replicate. Let's just go for
Our
our
own
own thing.
thing.
But there are so many people who do a good Gollum. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah, it's supposed to be like kind of dark and phlegmy and just like rabid sort of thing, you know, almost incoherent sometimes. Um,
yeah,
yeah, kind of weird. I'm
yeah,
kind of interested to hear it now.
yeah. Honestly, I mean, have a look now.
Well, if I play it, it might come. If I just bleed through onto the stream, I'm not sure what will happen. People will just start hearing.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, that would be okay. Well, like, boot it up, just like turn the YouTube volume down. If it's
Okay.
too loud, I'll let you know. We'll cancel
Okay.
it. But
All right.
just headphone listeners, just beware. We're just going to give this a quick go because it will be.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Okay.
We might get hit with a copyright strike as well, actually. But whatever.
All right. I'll do it, and I'll crank the volume down. So. All right. So, Gollum gameplay.
And the gameplay looked like fine.
Is
Like,
it on all?
I was expecting it to look a lot.
Is it on all platforms, or is it just Series X and
It is.
PS5?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it is next current gen only.
The first thing, Lord of the Rings Gollum looks awful. Okay, so Lord of the Rings Gollum gameplay reveal 2 days ago. It's like a minute, so it's quite short, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Why does he have so much hair? Is he a young Gollum? Is that why he's high pitched?
He doesn't look right.
Introducing
Like that character, they have fucked that character up. It does not look right. It doesn't sound right. I don't know what they've done.
Okay. All right. So I'm playing it, and the volume's not too high, but like we said, beware.
What is it, precious?
I can't hear anything.
Precious, of course. The precious we once
Okay.
I don't know if it's coming
I'll
through.
just yeah. I mean, hang on. Yeah, it's weird as fuck. It's only a minute, so.
stay in the shadows.
That's right. I'm just watching the stream to see if.
Oh, she lobbed.
Get to higher
Oh
ground.
yeah, we can hear it on the stream. It's fine. Yeah, okay. You see what I mean? Doesn't sound right.
This does not look good. This game.
No.
It's just everything I've ever seen. Oh, first person Gollum, let's go.
It's what we've always wanted.
Giving himself a hand
Fucking
job.
throw fit. Does he even have anything down there? I'm just sure of
I don't know, dude. He's got a loincloth for a reason, I guess.
that. Loincloth, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird, dude. Oh, dude, that game looks so
What if you
bad.
watch yourself?
Yeah, right.
Like, it just
Because when that.
is everything I've ever seen in that kind of game. I saw absolutely nothing new there. And I don't know, man. I didn't even think it looked that good, like graphically, like scenery wise.
I don't think it looked graphically. I thought the direction of the environment looked interesting.
A bit. It didn't blow me away from what I could tell. But yeah, and that voice. What the fuck? It's just so weird. It's so raspy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. It just sounds like a guy. It sounds like a guy.
It sounds like someone who's just been out and they've been to like a concert or a festival and they've like lost their voice. And it's like it's like the next day and they come back and they're like, ah, hey guys. Yeah. It's like someone's lost their voice, yeah. Sounds awful.
My Pilsner. Yeah. So that was Gollum. Still
Great.
not looking good. It's such a rip. Everything about that is such a rip.
Why make a game of Gollum, dude? Rather have a game based around Samwise.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Just gardening. Just like a sort of the Stardew Valley
Like,
Samwise gardening. Give me that shit over Gollum, please.
every now and again, if you plant grass too close to Bilbo's house, Gandalf comes out and Samwise is like, "I ain't dropping no eaves, sir," and he's like, "Oh, that's it. That's the gameplay loop.
That's
Don't
the
get too
gameplay.
close."
Yeah, exactly. But like, I just don't see what will Gollum's journey be? What will his story be? I just don't understand like what the stakes are here. Like,
Well, I mean, Like,
Is
I
he
don't think
is
that
he
would
just
be
trying to
that-
get like a new loincloth?
No, the narrative's got to be like the only part of the game that I have any real interest in, because they could do a lot with Gollum. Gollum's like one of the most interesting characters in Middle Earth. Like, maybe it's about him discovering his humanity, or like hobbinity, or whatever. I don't know. And then he doesn't. You know, he's interesting, but I'm with you. Like, in terms of the gameplay loop, like, am I just throwing rocks at orcs or slapping them with dead fish? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Sounds like it.
So yeah. Anyway, that's Gollum. Not good.
Right. Yeah.
Last mini story for today. Would you believe it? Is have you heard of the game Inscription, Tim?
No.
Inscription's like one of those. It was like a really well reviewed indie game. Came out maybe a year or two ago. It's a deck builder. It's a deck builder horror game. Where I don't know the premise. I've tried to stay away from spoilers. It always looked right up my alley.
Okay.
Everyone said it's amazing.
Yeah.
They finally announced it's coming to console.
Reviews are
On
great.
PlayStation.
Oh,
On PlayStation only.
fantastic. Why'd you just... I just looked it up. I was like 10 out of 10, card building, like deck game, and then you just fucking...
Yep.
You just say that shit to me.
Sorry.
Well, I do have a PlayStation 5, so maybe maybe I'll still play it, but...
Do you know, this is a trend that's starting to annoy me. And this goes both ways. Which is games that are on PC for a long time, which look cool, and I have to wait 2 years for a port. And then one of the publishers lock up a timed exclusivity deal for a further year. It's like, oh my god. By the time I get to play this game, I'm literally going to be another half decade older.
Yeah.
And that's going to... One day, have you ever thought about that? One day that's going to happen and we're going to die.
Yeah.
We're going to
Probably
perish. We're going to
this
be
year.
waiting for something. We're going to be waiting, and we're going to die. We're going to die not getting to play the thing that we were waiting for because some fucking grease monkey CEO was like, lock it
Grease
down.
monkey.
And I'm like, I'm living off my pension. I can't afford another console, the PlayStation 8, you know, and I'm going to die.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's it. You'll be 6 feet under before you ever get to play this game. This
Scary
theoretical
shit, man.
game.
It's got very existential all of a sudden.
Yeah. Jesus. Are you good? You good to finish off the show? Yeah. I hate that sort of shit, man. Yeah. I mean, it's just like a constant carrot dangle, isn't it? Just...
Yeah,
I'd
so
rather-
I'll wait a bit
I've-
longer.
Yeah, I've always said it. I'd rather just be like, yeah, it's never coming. Just, if you want this, buy a different console. Rather than just like, oh, it might be. Actually, no, it's not. It might be this time. No, it's not. Oh, you're dead.
That's a damn shame.
Yeah.
Like, you literally could have gotten my money. Like, you could have gotten my money, but you didn't. I died.
Yeah.
My heart stopped beating. Congrats. Fucking prick.
And now I'll haunt you.
Yeah, that's it. So, anyway, that game is like right up my alley. I was dead excited to play that, and when I looked around and saw that it's like a time exclusive, I was like really disappointed. So,
Steam
whatever.
Deck, mate. It's your only way.
Exactly. This is it. I need a Steam Deck for these sort of games. What else was I gonna say? I can't remember. Next story. Let's move on because we're
Yeah, we're looking to
Going
go
off the top.
well over. We need to start speeding up.
I think we're okay actually because we were like 20 minutes on the pre-show, so like we're like an hour and a bit in.
Okay. All right.
No stress. All right. So, next thing is about games with gold, Tim. What a service, am I right? It's good, isn't it?
No, in all honesty, I didn't know it was still happening.
I'm joking because it's like
Yeah, it's a joke.
Well, it's been a joke for a while. Games with mold, am I right?
Whoa, nice. There goes our sponsorship for anything Xbox related.
Yeah, that's like a personal DM from Phil.
Yeah.
Like, if you pull that shit again, I will shut you down.
Yeah. You guys are gaining way too much traction on the internet. Like, you can't be saying shit like that.
Yeah. So I mean, the actual story here is that going forward, like presumably next month, going forward, Games with Gold will no longer have 360 titles. As you know, it's been Xbox One games and 360 games. The only thing here that people are really mad about is the fact that with 360 games, so when they first introduced the service, you got to keep those games. If you clicked download on them, they were yours forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't get that with the Xbox One games. That you lose access when they drop out of Games with Gold.
Oh.
So just like how Games Plus works, but it was a big thing. They made a big deal out of it with the 360 versus PS Plus. They said you own these games on 360 if you download them. Anyway, that's going. It's obviously not the end of the world. Some people are understandably upset because they have a lot of nostalgia and love for the games that would come out every month, and they could own them and they could go back and play them. But I'd rather they put the investment in Games Pass, guys. That's just me.
Yeah. 100%. It's not just you, it's me too.
Yeah, okay.
And together we're an army.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. An army of ants. Actually, I meant to say, did you see there's a couple of outlets have done previews for Darktide in the last week? Skill Up did a big video, 25-minute long video overview and impression of Darktide. Watch just while we're on topic of Games Pass, because game looks shit hot. Gonna be real.
Oh, does it? Hot. Okay, God, I was really nervous there. Yeah, I thought you were literally saying game looks shit, and you were like shit hot, and I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God he said shit hot. Oh, nice man.
He was really impressed with it.
Awesome.
Really impressed with it. The gameplay looked great. Yeah, I'm getting increasingly excited about that. And
because that's
Games Pass Day 1 for that is wonderful.
That's August, isn't it?
Yes, so that's next month now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's August. Yeah, I think it's August.
All right.
Yeah, August is next month.
September.
Yeah.
I know August is next month, but is it coming out in August?
I think it's August. Yeah. I'm not absolutely certain on that.
Let's fact check. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. It's the QR fact check.
We need a jingle for that. Oh no, 13th of September. Looks like
it's the segment of the show where we breathe heavily into our microphones, tap on the keyboard for about 15 seconds, and then give you the answer. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it's the best part. Some people come only for this. Yeah, so it's 13th of September from what I could tell here. Yeah, so we were wrong. Okay. So it's not far into September, but yeah.
When's Plague's Tale? That's September as well, isn't it? Oh.
Yeah. So a couple more months. It's not too bad.
I hate it when there's no games for a long period of time, and then there's so many games in a month or two.
Yeah.
I
mean, in all honesty, I'm playing Monster Hunter quite a lot anyway, and I'm sure we'll be playing other stuff on Xbox like Naraka and stuff when we actually sit down and do our gaming sessions. But yeah.
Plague Tales October. Okay, yeah, maybe. I'm sure we will. Let's see. Okay, so that's the Games with Gold bit. Quick rundown of the new games coming to Games Pass. Peppa Pig, Tim, come to Games Pass. Let's fucking go.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious, man.
I almost just dropped 50 quid on that the other day. I'm so excited.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think you could sound any more uninterested there. You're like, really? Wow. God, I choked in.
I was doing my best to be excited for you.
But yeah, Peppa Pig's hype, man. But a little bit more hype. Not actually, probably a little bit less. Yakuza games are coming as well, by the looks of it.
Yeah, Yakuza games. I thought we got all of the Yakuza games, but I guess maybe they didn't go this far back in the catalogue.
Yeah, I guess not.
When Like a Dragon came out, they announced that last year, and they brought a couple of games. Maybe it's 3 onwards, maybe. But this is 0. So I can't even see that. 0 and 2 and then another one. So yeah. But what we've got here, just to quickly read through it for the audio listeners, in case you haven't already seen, we've got Last Call BBS. Don't know what that means. That's on PC. DJ Max Respect V. Don't know what that means. That's on cloud console and PC. Match Point Tennis Championships. Speaks for itself. Road 96. I remember this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The title card looks very familiar to me, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, it was like an indie game with some really interesting ideas. I'll have to check that after the show, actually, because that actually, I think, was quite interesting when I saw it a while back. Okay, we've got Escape Academy, Cloud and PC. We've got My Friend Peppa Pig. Let's fucking go.
So fucking
This
hyped,
is
dude.
so... Listen to the fucking summary of it. Help find Daddy Pig's glasses. Follow forest tracks. Splash in muddy puddles and more. Every playtime is different.
That's crazy. I wonder what the mud physics are like.
There better be 4K mud puddles or I'm not going to be happy.
There'll be ray tracing in those mud puddles.
Everybody knows we have reflective mud.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we've got Overwhelm on PC. We've got Paw Patrol, the movie, Cloud Console and PC. Power Wash Simulator, Cloud Console and PC. That game has like a really cult following.
Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of simulators do. I think like Lawn Mowing Simulator had a really good following as well. But I wasn't certain about Power Washing Simulator.
Well, I've seen the game because you like go to people's front runs or whatever, and you like blast the mold away between the tiles, and you like get right in the cracks,
Ooh,
and you like pushing the
let's
mud
go.
away. Yeah, and it's not really satisfying. So yeah, that's a thing. House Flipper. This is another kind of like it's sort of simmy game, but you go into a shit. I'm gonna try and get Beth to play this sometimes because she loves this sort of stuff. But you go into like a rubbish house and you flip into something nice, sell it for more based on how well you do. Buy better tools, go to worse houses, things like that.
Yeah.
Really fun ideas. So there's all sorts of fun ideas for like Xbox games with that. And then in terms of DLC updates, Marvel Avengers introduces Jane Foster as the Mighty Thor. That's very cool. Woo! That's it though, I think. A couple of bucks, but those were all the additions. So not a big month for me. I'm gonna have a look at Road 96. Some people are quite excited about Match Point, like because there aren't many tennis games nowadays. And I guess without saying, Peppa Pig is
Yeah.
god tier.
Yeah, shit's going to download right after this podcast.
Yeah, gotta get in those muddy puddles. See what that's all about. Next up, Activision Blizzard is being investigated in our homeland, Tim, in the UK.
In the United of Kingdoms.
That's right, yes. The United Kingdom's Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, is investigating Microsoft's Activision Blizzard acquisition. The CMA will announce its decision whether to refer the merger for an in-depth investigation by September 1st. So, most people seem confident this ain't going to slow anything down, but it's big enough for CMA to say, we're going to have a look just to check that this is good for everyone in the UK.
Yeah.
And not bad.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
The general, we spoke about this ad nauseum on the show. Everyone else has, this is good overall, especially given how much of a fuckfest Blizzard has become.
Blizzard is, yeah, exactly.
And Xbox is, much better. I don't want to say a slightly less fuckfest because, from what I understand, Xbox is a good place to work. So
yeah,
that's where we're at with that. It's going to be crazy because we're going to have to keep talking about this for a while, but eventually one day is going to come, Tim, where that deal closes.
Yeah.
I wonder what happens on that day. What happens on that day?
I mean, we get them, right? Activision.
Me and you.
Yeah, we get them, yeah. We'll have them on our podcast and we'll have them talk a bit about the whole happenings with the deal and everything.
We'll get Mikey Barrow. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's going to be pretty hype. It will come with a lot of stuff, no doubt. I think it will come with tons of Games Pass editions as well. I think they'll just lob. I mean, even though like Overwatch cut it in there already, but and most interestingly, it will decide the fate of that survival game that they're building.
The Blizzard survival game.
Yeah, whether or not
Super
that'll be
interesting.
console exclusive, whether or not it'll be Games Pass, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't help but think that that's going to be the Xbox's Starfield. In terms of being Bethesda's big game.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I think that's the next big thing Blizzard are working on, and they're pouring a lot of attention into for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm dead excited to see more of that. And you've got to imagine behind the scenes, even though they're not allowed to really confer or make any sort of deals at the moment while this is going through. You've got to imagine someone behind the scenes is like, don't reveal this fucking game. You keep this under wraps, and then we will take it from there. We'll pay for the marketing, or buy your breakfast, or do your dishes. But it's ours. It's going on Games Pass.
Yeah. And I wonder if it means like Diablo 4 will be lobbed like straight into Games Pass when that deal comes through and they're officially ours and stuff. At that point, we would have bought it anyway, right? But
that's what makes this so interesting. I think is like the timing of it is. The timing of when the deal goes through is a big deal for Xbox because, they get Blizzard in its entirety anyway. But like the revenue generated, the mind share really will hinge on how close the acquisition happens to Diablo 4. Imagine the fuckery that would happen if, like, 1 week before deal closes, they do like a 1 minute, they did like a trailer for Bethesda where they like had different games together, and they were like, "Welcome to the family," blah blah. Blah.
Yeah.
It was like blinded by your light. They do that for Blizzard, and then at the very end it says, "Releasing next week, Diablo 4, play it day one on Games Pass."
Yeah.
But like they couldn't announce that beforehand because the deal hadn't gone through, but they dropped that like a week before because they're like, "This was always the plan, but we just couldn't say it officially."
Yeah.
That's a big deal,
It's a very big deal. Yeah. I mean, Diablo 4 still hasn't even got a release window yet, has it?
Did we ever get anything?
Was it 2023? I can't remember. I don't even think it got a release window, if I'm honest. Another QRP fact check. He's typing on his keyboard.
I think it just says all hell breaks loose in 2023. So I think you're right.
Okay. Yeah.
So which is what I mean. Like they've, the anticipation was that the deal closed in June, and I can't help but think that someone is saying, "Take your time, take your time." Phil sneaking into the office and like snipping a green wire here or there, just slow it down.
Slow it down. So
I don't know.
So the deal was expected to finish next year, June. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's interesting.
Supposedly, the deal is moving quite smoothly. It's going quite quickly, so it could close a bit early. That maybe in Q1. It's quite ambitious, and they want to give themselves enough of a runway for this sort of stuff. But it's just funny because I'm actually just now, because we usually talk about this from the Xbox side of things, but like maybe if you think about the Blizzard side of things, maybe they would prefer to release like once they've been acquired. Like, I'm trying to think what would be beneficial to them. Does that mean they have more resources for marketing? They have access to more technologies, for distribution and whatever. Like I don't know.
Diablo really need marketing though, but yeah.
Well, exactly. The other side of it is Activision's huge. Like they do this stuff by themselves anyway. So like I wonder actually, maybe it just becomes more complicated for them if they release once they're under the, under Xbox. So
yeah, potentially. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Interesting.
Yeah, just an interesting little thing. Yeah. Right. That totally disorientated me. Okay, so the Redfall thing was next, Tim, and I just saw this today. So there was like a little interview that IGN did. They had some new information in. So what I've done on the notes here, I've pretty much just copy pasted the whole thing. I've made the questions in bold and I've like highlighted the bits in red which are interesting. So I say we just take this kind of bit by bit and we just have a chat about what we think about each highlighted point that I've gone through.
Okay.
And we'll just kind of go from there. Yeah. So I do want to say that this, for whatever reason, this interview overlapped loads with the interview that IGN did with them previously.
Okay. Yeah.
Like there was literally word for word the same answer. So I don't know if it was the same. It's the same interview, but the one we saw was just edited down. No, and now this is just the written version. But like, yeah, there's more. There's new information. So, first question was: does the story change based on who you play? And again, this was with Harvey Smith. Is that his name? Harvey Smith, I think. Yeah, he's the creative director. And the first question, yeah, does the story change based on who you play? The short answer was no, but different characters have different dynamic dialogue. You know, depending on who you're with.
Yeah.
They've got more dynamics, narrative systems to speak about later, but that's kind of the thing. And it speaks to the whole solo approach that they've spoken about before. That this can be very much soloed as a solo experience.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I think we've spoken about before as well is whenever on like all the videos, there's always someone in the comments like, "Oh, these characters talk too much. God, they're annoying."
Yeah.
He addressed that here. He said, I'll have a look at the comments every once in a while and I'll see somebody say, "I hope they don't talk this much during the game. They're very chatty." And he says, and that's true, they don't. For marketing purposes, we just double down on the dialogue that's in the trailer. Otherwise, there's not moments of...
That's interesting. Yeah.
I didn't have
clarification of an issue with that, but yeah, sure.
No, neither did I. But people are like really burnt out on like. I really hate calling it this, but like Marvel dialogue.
Yeah.
Which is silly because it's just like witty comment. It's just like witty dialogue. That's literally it.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some reason that really triggers people because there's a portion of like the gaming minority, the vocal gaming minority that just wants like stoic, silent dads. And that's it. Nothing else. No laughter allowed.
Yeah.
No smiling here.
Well, I mean it is the best. I do like my protagonist to not say anything and just grunt all the time. It's the best.
Exactly. Yeah. There's not multiple endings, which is probably no surprise to anyone. But I think, or maybe there was. I mean, there was I suppose there were like slightly different variations on endings in Prey. I don't know if there was in Dishonored.
Mm.
Yeah, they were very, very slight in the sense that you got like a different montage at the end based on what you've done. Like if you went high chaos, low chaos, and the decision at the end. So I guess a little bit, but not too surprised, I suppose, with it being a co-op game or having co-op as part of it. Next question. Arcane games are usually big on player choice and consequences. In Redfall's announcement, it was said that our actions change Redfall's setting. Are there many branching paths or major choices with consequences? The short answer is no, there's not branching missions, but within the campaign, there's side missions, there's like nests, there's safe house missions. There's a variety of side missions with different objectives and stuff, and events and dynamic events to happen out in the open world. But the actual plot doesn't have sort of like branching storylines.
Yeah, so more like
Expected?
POIs and kind of things to do. Similar to like Spider-Man, where you're like flying around the city, you can stop like active crimes or stop and just take down like a camp or something like that. I guess something similar to that.
Yeah, definitely, and he speaks more about it, and in one of the further questions as well about kind of what those POIs are, which sound really interesting.
Yeah.
So the next question was kind of about the end game. What's the end game like? What are the player goals? Are there better stats for optimization, character levels, or something else entirely? And they said essentially, yeah, this is kind of new to us, and we're not really ready to talk about it yet because it's still underway. But we support all of our games for a long period of time after they come out with DLC or enhancements, and you can look at our past and see all of that, ranging from the Knife of Dunmore, Brigmore Witches, or Mooncrash for Prey. And actually, I think we had a conversation about this the other week about, is it going to be live servicey or not? Seems like the answer's no, really. Here, it's just like DLC chunks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
It's a bit better, I think. Okay. So will it be harder for players who choose to go in alone, or is it balanced so that it's more challenging for more people? And this was a really good way to explain it, I think. And he said, all of our games make a Venn diagram. If you think about, the Venn diagram of Arcane and that circle, and he said if you lay them on top of each other, they overlap heavily. There's like Dishonored, and then there's like Prey, and they overlap with the very slight differences. Dishonored is still focused. Prey is a seamless sort of contiguous environment with a continuous flow of time, and it's physics focused. Deathloop added multiplayer. Mooncrash added roguelike elements, and Redfall falls on that same Venn diagram. It will have a lot of the same arcane creative values, narrative-rich space. The location is a character, which would put a lot of history into the place, immersive movement through the body, through the action, through the climbing, the sliding, and all of that stuff. And then, of course, the game mechanics that interact in interesting ways and ways that sometimes surprise us. So, more and more doubling down, I think, on that.
It's still an arcane game.
Exactly.
But you can play it co-op. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And they mentioned sort of stealth here as well. So there's it's not a super hardcore stealth game, but stealth is a factor. The AI is based on awareness with sight and sound, and you can use stealth to get an advantage on people or to bypass the conflict or whatever to avoid fighting if you're wounded or weak. Actually, I wanted to ask you a question about this. Are there any co-op games that we've ever played where stealth has been a viable component?
I don't think so. No.
I won't accept Sniper Elite.
Damn it. No, I don't think so. That's a good question.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure nothing's coming to mind. No. It's pretty much always just guns blazing or abilities blazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's and I like that. I like that angle of this game, is that stealth is sort of it's not a stealth game, but stealth is definitely a way you can approach things.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting, and I think people are really not piecing together, because when you start to put all these elements together that we've spoken about before and they're speaking about here today, with like there's infiltration, there's a safe house here, but it's already occupied by the militia, and there's the front door, but it's heavily guarded. There's the roof, and there's a drop in from the top, but it's hard to get up there without making noise. There's the underground bit. But you need a lock key to get in there. Are you going to stealth? Are you going to shoot through? Like, I think all of these factors are really interesting, and I like we said before, I think this stuff is very, very hard to make to market. And the more you read about this, the more you realize, this is going to come together just like an arcane game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And actually, maybe I should save this point. Well, because they speak about it here, they say that basically when you're playing with more people, it becomes a bit more chaotic. The solo experience is designed to be quite like spooky.
Okay.
And immersive, but of course, the more people you get in, the more kind of the more that goes away, and that's where they're like, we're not going to try and make you feel spooked out, even though you've got 3 other friends and you're chatting shit together. So the mood lightens, and that's why there's quippy dialogue. Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because otherwise it would all just fall kind of flat, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, that makes complete sense when you're teaming up with friends and stuff like that.
It's like it's to, by the sounds of it, it's to avoid. People call it like what do they call it? Ludonarrative dissonance. It's that idea that there's like a contradiction between what you're doing in game and what's happening in the story.
Yeah.
Like, you're playing as Batman, and he goes into a cutscene and he's like, "Oh no, I never kill. We can't kill people," and then you like kill 150 people. And you're like, so yeah, I think it's that. It's like they're just aware of the fact that when you start throwing people together, they're going to be chatting, they're going to be having a good time, and so the quippy dialogue is just to match that. So that so which I thought was an interesting, like, I hadn't considered that was why that's the case, and it makes me want to play this with just you. I don't ever want to play this 4 players anymore. Like, I feel like it would suck all the atmosphere out of it, which Arcane is really good at. Do you know what I mean?
Especially when some of our friends play games in a very different style to how we do, and I feel like they might just completely ruin the experience a little bit. I mean, just imagine playing with Caden. He just sprints through.
What does that do? What does that do?
Yeah, speed runs everything, skips all dialogue, and just doesn't know how half the game works. He's that sort of player. So yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, the more I'm hearing about this game, the more I'm like, I kind of actually just want to play this solo, or at the most like 2 player.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm totally with you. Yeah. It's not the sort of game I want to, maybe hop on and play with 4 people anymore. The more I learn about it. Yeah. Definitely.
Or at the very least, I'll have like a solo character and then a co-op character. I'll have two running in tandem.
Yeah.
Just try and get both sides of it, but yeah. Okay, Tim. Tough topic.
Tether.
Yes. All players have the freedom to leave their group in co-op and explore on their own, encountering enemies and things to do on their own, or is there something tying everyone together? Different builds along the way, we've had different answers to that question. At one point, we just let you wander to the opposite sides of the world, but the game is tuned such that the game gets harder with more people. Due to your chances of survival, you're encouraged to come back together. We may ship with tethering, but it will be pretty generous. Maybe a few 100 yards or something, I hope. Most of the time, you probably won't notice it anyway, but it becomes a different thing. The way our world is set up, it's better if you gravitate back to the group. Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still just not a fan on tethering. Like, I feel like you can just give the player the choice of whether or not they want to stick to the group or not. Just forcing a player's hand to do something is never ideal. And it just sounds like a very generic response, like, oh, stick together, your chances of survival are higher. It's just a generic response to try and justify tethering, which is an annoying mechanic at the end of the day.
But I just don't understand the angle though. Like, I never liked tethering.
Yeah.
Even because people always say like, oh, but it's pretty big, and it's like, that's fine. Why then?
Yeah, exactly. Why not just uncap
I don't
it?
understand the rationale. Yeah, I don't, because like we had the same conversation about Halo whenever it was, like 2 weeks ago or last week, whatever, and they said the same thing. They were like, oh yeah, there's going to be tethering. It's really big, but it's going to be there.
Yeah.
It's like, but why?
If it's going to be so big,
limitation?
If it's going to be so big that you could potentially still just split off from each other and be separated anyway, then why not just make it uncapped? Why not just not have it there?
Yeah. And it's like, I don't... Like, surely if the concern here is that players are going to wander off and die on their own, like, they'll learn? Like,
exactly.
Is that not... Arcane is always like... The whole thing is that it's interacting systems. Let me learn that that type of approach does not work well with the systems in the game, because there are vampires hiding in bins or in the dark or, in a plug socket. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
I die.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah, just leave it up to the player to learn what went wrong and change accordingly. Don't think that will dampen their experience in the game. Just be like, oh, go shit, I ran away from the group and I keep dying. It's just like, well, a lot of players will end up just gravitating back to the group naturally.
Like, at some point, like, because this is one of those things that it seems so obvious to us when we're on the outside, but like, they must have like good data, like good focus testing of people that come in and play, and they do just that. They just sprint off die, and they just disengage. They write the feedback, and they're like, it's really shit, it's too hard.
Yeah.
That must happen, because I don't know if there's matchmaking in this game. Like, maybe that would be a more justified reason.
Yeah. Maybe.
Like, I'd be okay with like prompts. You think about how Apex works. The characters speak to each other. They say, "Oh, we're really far away." And you're like, "Oh shit, yeah." It's like, give me an audio prompt, or like you could put it on the HUD if you really wanted to. I don't think that would be nice, but just give me an audio prompt. Let the characters talk.
Yeah, yeah.
I just never see the point. I've never heard a rationale, a good point, unless it's a technical limitation. Like I assume it was in State of Decay because it's a smaller team and running on Xbox One at the time and etc. etc. So, NC for this one.
Yeah. No, agreed. It's not good, regardless.
Yeah. Okay. How open is the open world? What are our limitations? Is it more like Breath of the Wild, where you can go anywhere, wherever, or do we have to stick to certain areas until we're ready for the next challenge? It's very open, but for what it's worth, it's made to be an on-foot game. With people talking about square footage, what's appropriate is different based on what you're, on whether you're just running and walking, or whether you have vehicles or fly on a dragon or whatever. Ours is an on-foot urban exploration game, so it's the right size for that.
Yeah.
He said that at first when they were designing it, it was too open almost, and there wasn't enough blocking away or channeling you. But it's very open rooftops, alleys, and streets of this small town, which is like a sort of a fishing community, obviously taken over by vampires. And this is the interesting thing that I highlighted here: is that the one thing that we do in terms of gating pretty heavily is that we divided the world into 2 districts. District 1 is the first half of the missions, and it's the downtown part of Redfall. And District 2 is more rural. It's farms, lighthouses, churches, things like that. So, heavily divided into 2 parts.
Would that mean that they're literally like different sections of the game? That like you would specific, like the campaign would be like, you do some missions over in this district, you do some missions over in that district, and potentially loading times and stuff like that. That would suck.
Dying Light did that, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. That would potentially suck. Yeah.
Yeah. I found that weird about Dying Light, where you get to the next area, but you can like see it, and you could like the forest that separated you from between the areas wasn't even that big, and if you tried to fly over it, you just hit an invisible and die. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's really weird design choice. Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully not. I mean, they keep calling it an open world. They keep going on about how world is open, you can explore everywhere. So I hope not. I hope there is that freedom to just wander off and get fucked, by a hyper powerful zombie vampire.
Yeah. No, agreed. Yeah, I'd like that. Yeah.
Oh, I missed something a bit further up, just to make sure I cover it, by the way, because they mentioned something about the question was about the most challenging gameplay aspect, and they said that there are boss fights which are very hard. The vampire gods.
Ooh, that's hype.
And what he said a bit later down was when the storms kick off and the Rook shows up, so one of the special type of vampires, that would be very difficult as well. So the big vampire we saw at the end of the first trailer, it had like 4 arms, and it was like
yeah
turning the sun off. That's one of the vampire gods.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Kind of gives me like Valkyrie vibes from like God of War or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd like that.
What's next? What's that door shown in the trailer? Is that the psychic nests? Are these replayable if you miss something in them, like a collectible, or are these required to complete an optional challenge? Do you know what we're talking about? The door that
the
like phased
alternate
in. And...
reality thing.
Yeah, that's definitely what it looked like. Yeah, and they said so we have a bunch of very dynamic systems, like where storms can happen. For example, this one special type of vampire shows up in the storms, and we have these vignette scenes, which we'll go into detail in about some point, which are full-on scenes with characters and loot, and you can approach them in different ways. We have safe houses for this neighborhood capture system, where you go neighborhood by neighborhood, capturing different parts of the town, taking them back, making them safe again, and we'll get into that too. There's a lot here they clearly haven't spoken about.
Yeah, so much. Yeah,
I like the idea of this being like you go and take back that neighborhood, and it's safe and it's defended, and let's say perk of that is that it regenerates ammo for you, and like lockpicks or resources very occasionally. It can be dynamic in the sense the vampires take it back, and if you don't go and sort it out at the right time, it'll go back to being the vampire control again, militia control or whatever.
Yeah,
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, But then like
Um,
they haven't said that's a thing though, have they? Where it's like you take it over, but they can take it back or whatever. It's just kind of just like it might just be Assassin's Creed
might
style.
just be static,
Yeah,
one and
POI.
done. Yeah,
You do it. That's your base now. Or yeah,
yeah, it very much might be, but it's more the fact that he said, yeah, you take the neighborhood and you take them back and you make them safe again, but we've got more to talk about. So it sounds like there's a bit more nuance.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Maybe there's not. It's just the fact that he said that. He says that a lot of times throughout this interview, that there's a lot of systems they clearly haven't touched on that much yet, which I think is quite exciting. But maybe that will help people distinguish like the systems of the game here, because a lot of people feel that the game looks a bit too generic at the moment. Whereas we know, like, these systems are going to be heavily thought about, be engaging. So, first left off the first question about the psychic nest, because I realised what I said didn't actually answer that question, but it's on the next bit. So Harvey then says, and then, as you guessed, we have a feature called nests, which are kind of a shared psychic space where the vampires are basically sort of tripping together on what we call the blood trance. Different rules exist inside the nest. The psychic space doesn't have to adhere to normal architectural boundaries, and that's why in the trailer you see them go to a movie theatre, and instead of the screen, it transitions into this wilderness-looking environment. But yes, that's a nest. They're not required, but at the centre of the nest, there's a powerful psychic remnant in it that you want, basically. And remnants, I just know this from him talking about the game, are like they're like charms, essentially.
Okay.
Like magic.
Yeah.
Either give you powers or augment your stuff in a particular way.
Okay.
And they're procedurally generated, which I thought was interesting. I didn't think that this game had a level of procedural generation in it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
So, by the sounds of it, these nests pop up at different times. They've got different tile sets, and they're stitched together kind of dynamically. So, yeah, kind of interesting. Again, I didn't realise that was a thing.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. Yeah, that's opened it up quite a bit more. That's made them seem a bit more exciting to me. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so Miranda follows up. Sorry, Miranda Sanchez. I did the interview, so just one name drop there. Are there a lot of procedurally generated parts to the game? The short answer was kind of like yes and no. He spoke about there being a lot of overlapping systems, like how the ambient spawn of enemies depends on the time of day, as the sun rises and the moon sets. I didn't realise there was a time of day system in this, but this seems to indicate there's a time of day system. I'm always a fan of a night and day system where the sun's setting and you think, oh shit, we need to get somewhere safe before, like Dying Light, right?
Yeah, that was great. And in Dying Light, yeah, I love that. Yeah, I kind of assumed that would be here. Well, you didn't assume that.
No, I thought in the gameplay, I thought that I had pieced together in my mind that the vampires had blocked out the sun.
No, I think that was probably
this-
just like a
this time.
cinematic, like we said, of one of the vampire gods showing up, and then maybe for 20 minutes that happens. It's like an event. You have to take him down to get the sun back or something like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe like there's like a usual day and night cycle, but occasionally, in the middle of the day, this vampire shows up and you have like a minute because he's accelerating sunset. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's something like that. But yeah, I always assumed there would be day-night cycles, so that's not too much of a surprise to me. But yeah.
Yeah, because he says like vampires are more dormant during the day, etc., and like presumably the militia is more dormant at night. On top of all of that, Arcane is known for AI that is sight and hearing based. Even if your game is not a hardcore stealth game, having an AI that's like that just generates gameplay. Like you're moving across the world and you're moving into an area and you don't realize that you made a sound back there and somebody's following you now. Or you accidentally lead a group of enemies into another group of enemies and they fight. That kind of AI is what we do. Whether it's Prey, it's Deathloop, it's Dishonored or Redfall. No matter the rest of the structure of the game is, it gives you a lot of dynamic gameplay. So it's procedural in nature.
It's a good answer.
Yeah, that's what, A+.
Yeah,
on that one.
like genuinely. Yeah, that's cool.
There's a big block of text here that I was originally going to read out, but I'm not going to because I appreciate this is quite a dry segment. Essentially, I would recommend going to read the article, but he has a big sort of little story about the scenario he went through about luring enemy factions into another. So far, we know of 3. We know of vampires, and 2 different militias. One of them is called the Bellwether Soldiers, and there's another one that I can't remember the name of right now. So we know that they're going to fight. Right, 2 more questions just to finish this off then, Tim. One of them is ammo rare, or is it easy to find? And he said, I would love to do a mode where it's super rare, but it's somewhere in the middle for this. It's not like you're ammo starved all the time, but it's also not like you have infinite ammo. Typically, when you fight people, they'll drop some kind of ammo. The stake launcher has found quote-unquote ammo. It fires broken broom handles or pool cues or fireplace pokers or something like that. So there'll be a bundle of stuff like that on the ground that you can load into it. If you're exploring an old boat on the harbour, it might have a first aid kit and flares in it or something to that effect.
Okay.
I like ammo starve.
Yeah.
I like ammo starve.
But it doesn't sound like there is going to be ammo starve. It just sounds like it's going to be just quite like ammo will be common for like just typical generic guns, but like you said, like a stake gun, you might have to check like the environment a little bit more. It's not like you kill an enemy and he's going to drop a stake. It's more you find it from things in the environment, but he'll drop pistol ammo or assault rifle ammo or something like that. So it just sounds like there'll be special ammo and just really generic ammo. Yeah.
I guess the takeaway is more like saying it's more so that there's a scavenging element.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they don't just drop ready-made stakes that go into your gun. Yeah, it's kind of like you'd be like, oh, this bar has a pool table, so we'll just raid like all the pool cues and get like 10 stakes from it or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like you don't just regenerate ammo. Like vampires aren't going to drop bullets for you. You're going to have to loot it.
Yeah.
For the most part. I think is great. Okay, and this is the last bit. Can you tell me about your favourite weapon? That probably depends on which character I'm playing at any given time, and the trait and the leveling of the weapons work such that such that you pretty much have as many weapons as you want to carry, but you're typically switching between 3. No inventory management, yay! Nice. No weight capacity.
That's good. I like that.
The way the system works is it's beneficial to have one of the dedicated vampire hunting weapons, like a flare gun, a UV beam, or a stake launcher, and then a shotgun, sniper rifle, or a machine pistol. There's a lot of different stuff in there, and it's augmented by your character's powers, of course. So, depending on the situation, depending on the character, depending on which weapon you find one of a certain level with certain traits and a certain rarity. Depends on how you play as well. If you have a good UV beam and you couple that with something that has a stake at the end, or like a flare gun, that's a very powerful combination because you can petrify vampires and then destroy them from a distance. So I hadn't considered that there is kind of like a rock, paper, scissors system going on here. In that you could have 3 vampire weapons and just be a vampire killing machine. Or maybe you want 2 bullet weapons and 1 petrification weapon, right? Like a UV beam or whatever. So we don't really know what sort of nuance, but it depends what your loadout's going to be for where you're taking it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because you change it. Yeah, depending if you're taking down like an enemy camp, like a faction camp, and just be like, okay, well, we need bullet weapons here. I don't need to be shooting UV lights and stakes at humans. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool to be able to switch that all up on the fly. I love the fact that there's no cap on inventory. You can you clear it out as you want and how neat you want it to be, but you don't actually have a weight capacity, which I really like, because I found that really annoying. I know a lot of people like it, and it's just like, oh, it makes sense, but it's just like, well, it doesn't make sense, because in Skyrim you can still carry 50 swords, but you couldn't carry 51 swords. It's still not realistic. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Like, just either have it uncapped or have it like Resident Evil style or something like that, That's how you got to do it. But yeah, I prefer uncapped, personally. Yeah.
I'm with you. Okay, so that's kind of the takeaway there. Those were kind of the new things. Obviously, not loads in there, but it just gives little hints and teasers around the sort of direction of the game and how it's shaping up. And it's hard to say because, like I said, like the lack of popularity on this game is really worrying me. But I do trust them to make a good game at the same time. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see. Won't we? I
Yeah.
want more gameplay. I want to understand more about these systems that makes it stand out as an Arcane game, like we keep saying, and they keep saying as well. But I want to see it. So
Yeah,
that's,
exactly. Yeah, you got to show your audience that. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to make a good game. It's what they do, but there's a doubt in my mind to how well it's going to sell. So they need to sort their marketing out and how they get this message across. Definitely.
Absolutely. All right. Next story. Oh, want a break? Do you have a break topic?
A break topic?
Yeah.
Not really.
Looking around your room, like,
Yeah. So weather is hot. I'm so hot in this room, though. To be fair, I'm getting like really lethargic and really like hot, and like my answers are becoming just like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's just really hot in this room, man.
That's sort of weather, isn't it?
We'll be going.
Do you have do you have iced coffees?
Yeah, I love an iced coffee. Yeah.
Is that? Do you have that year round?
No, not year round. I tend to like them mainly in hot weather. Like if I go to like we sometimes walk down to Cafe Nero and stuff, and I'd never just get a normal flat white. If it's like the weather it is outside, I'd get like a iced, like pistachio.
I never really iced.
They do like a really nice like pistachio like iced latte, which is really good. I normally get that. It's nice, man. I do. I enjoy an iced coffee.
I just had a red hot Americano.
Nah, yeah. See, I'm not interested because you can even just get like iced flat whites. Like I've had one of those before. It's just
I know. But
same thing.
I don't know.
I like
never
it.
slaps the same. I like my innards to sweat as well as my outwards. You know?
No,
Okay.
not interested.
Right. That'll do, I guess, for the topic. And so, Max Hoberman, Tim. Max Hoberman is the founder and the CEO of Certain Affinity. You know Certain Affinity, don't you? Helped out with Halo 2. They are making, supposedly, Tatanka, the BR over at Halo Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also supposedly, speaking of Monster Hunter, making Project Suerte, which was that Monster Hunter like exclusive game, supposedly, which I'm really excited about, by the way, because is formula not more popular?
What?
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry. I was just swinging out a message because I had to. So.
Okay, no problem. Oh, my question was, why is the Monster Hunter popular? No, why is the Monster Hunter formula not more popular? God, I'm getting hot, dude. I'm getting flustered.
Yeah, I was flustering you. Why is it not more popular?
Yeah, because it's Dauntless.
Yeah, I mean it's just very JRPG, isn't it? There's a lot of layers to it, I think, and that just puts people off.
I think that's what makes like this kind of project from Certain Affinity really exciting, though, right? Because like, what could they be doing? Like, should they making kind of a Western Monster Hunter? I suppose. What they're doing with it?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean,
I like the idea of it. It's fun.
It does sound pretty cool.
I just want more games with that formula. I think it's a really good formula. Kill big stuff.
Yeah.
With your friends, get stuff from that thing, make better weapons to kill bigger thing. You know, that's just good.
Yeah, I mean, we've already discussed in this episode how much we love the Monster Hunter loop, and how good it is. Yeah, but I think for it to be more mass appeal, even though Monster Hunter is pretty mass appeal these days, but like, yeah, you need to make it a little bit more Western. You need to like cut out some of the layers and stuff like that because it can be pretty intimidating. Like I know how popular World is, but I guarantee you, like a lot of people might have bought that game, but I bet you so many people didn't even scratch the surface of that game. Like, I bet you so many people didn't even get past the first few big monsters, and big hunts. Sure. It's just that there's a lot to take in, and there's a lot to do. And he doesn't really explain much of it to you. You know, you have to go to the blacksmith and talk to him, and then go through all the forging process and figure out what you need and what has what. And it doesn't tell you any of that. You just have to go and do it. So it's pretty intense.
That's fair. Yeah, and I think that would be a good thing to look at for a Western Monster Hunter. Would be like simplify it a little bit in terms of the systems, but keep that core loop there. So anyway, yeah, little tangent, but essentially the story here, like I was saying, Max Hoberman, CEO of certain Affinity, has gone on, took to Twitter and spoke to a couple of Halo accounts that were talking about wanting Halo 3 remastered maps or anything, and he said, "We are not doing any remaster work at certain Affinity at present, though there is something nostalgic in some of the work we're doing."
Something nostalgic.
Pretty sussy. First thing that comes to mind is that there is some old Halo map design integrated into the big BR map. That makes sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Try and give me a vision of what you mean.
Like, didn't like Warzone, for example, didn't Warzone stitch a couple of its maps or like older maps into its big battle royale thing? Have I made that up or is that real?
I think you might have made that up.
Really?
Yeah.
Well then.
I mean, I'm not sure.
Just
I mean,
a little
we're both
bit of
not.
psychosis.
We're both not Call of Duty guys, so I don't think we can really just. You know, for a long time we haven't been Call of Duty people, so I don't think we can safely say this. But I don't think that's the case. I think they've all.
Well, that's what the vision would be. That they've stitched together. They've made their own unique map, but there is some elements of older Halo 3 maps stitched into that. Well, Halo 2 or Halo 1, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, to some degree. That's where my mind goes for this first.
So you think it's going to be like a culmination of like old school and new school, like sort of BR map, with like
I think
cool
so. I think...
like POIs that have like throwbacks to like and nods to their previous games and stuff. Yeah. I think they'd be silly not to use that sort of power and that sort of weight that they've had, making those successful games in the past. Why not have nods back to those? Yeah, I think you're silly if you don't do that.
Definitely. So that's where my mind goes first and foremost. And while we're on the Halo topic, it was announced this week that Paul Bertone, who was a Halo veteran, worked on Halo 1 through to 3, ODST and Reach, has come back to 343 as Studio Technical Design Director. Clearly, this is part of 343's efforts to upstaff, to accelerate content, to get ducks in a row. And like supposedly there was a bit of a resistance early in the 343 days, a bit of a resistance to bring back Bungie employees. So that's clearly gone now, that resistance. So it's good to have more of the OG bunch back on board. I don't think it's like... Some people seem to, you know, like the Halo purists are like, fire everyone out. You know, it's like, you know, they're whatever, hyper toxic. Can't lie in that I think this is healthy for the game.
Yeah.
They clearly need a more refined management structure. You know, we've gone back and forth on 343 many times. Everyone knows how this conversation kind of goes, but ultimately, you know, there needs to be a better senior team there, I think, that can better manage time frames. So just a bit of good news.
Yeah. Oh, it's good news. Yeah.
All right. As we have on the title of the video, Tim, Xbox is appearing at Gamescom.
Woo!
You heard of Gamescom?
I've heard of Gamescom. That's the one in Germany.
Wow. That's correct. So, in a press release, they said, they, coming from Mr. Xbox himself, I don't know, I'm chatting shit. Following our recent Xbox and Bethesda game showcase, we're excited to confirm that that Xbox will be back on the show floor at Gamescom 2022 in Cologne, Germany. So this is fun. This is what they said about the show
Okay.
in terms of expectations. Fans in Europe and around the world can expect updates on some announced games coming to Xbox in the next 12 months and a chance to hang out as a community again in person. So,
Okay. So no new reveals,
Following up-
but
yeah. Following up on already announced games. I mean, which there are a handful of.
so many.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you remember the show from last year, because I've made a little list. I very quickly skimmed through it the other day just to get an idea of what they showed. But just to give you an idea, everyone, this was hosted by Paris Lily and Kate Yeager at the time, which was pretty fun. It was an hour and 22 minutes long. It was like done on an Xbox stage. It was very much treated like a mini Xbox show. There was no like big announcements. So just very quickly, there was a Dying Light 2 preview. There was a Flight Sim segment. There was an indie sizzle reel from about Humble Bundle. There was an Age of Empires Trebuchet feature, which was like has been memed to death because they literally had a 10-minute segment about trebuchets and how they work, which was like silly. It didn't need to go on that long.
Yeah.
They announced cloud gaming on console. So before that, it was just a thing on phones, right? But now you can obviously stream off your console. So that was like an announcement on a firm date, which was pretty cool. Hellblade optimization for XNS. Wasteland 3 Cult of the Holy Detonation DLC announced. State of Decay Homecoming DLC was announced. Stray Blade. This game looks really good. I would encourage you all to like quickly go to like YouTube and just really quickly type this in and have a look. But this game looked really good. It was like a combination of like Kingdoms of Amalur and like Fable. Supposedly it's out this year, so we might see a follow-up on that.
Okay.
Crusader Kings 3 adaptation for Xbox. Psychonauts 2 and a Double Fine interview. The Gunk. And then a Forza Horizon 5 limited edition controller and like a gameplay preview. They showed off like the first 10 minutes of the game before it came out, obviously in November. November, right?
Mm.
So I would say, Tim, that it's not bad, right?
Yeah, I was about to say it's a pretty healthy like lineup from for what they showed last year.
For a Gamescom show.
And I'm assuming, was the Gunk announced there, or was it just more gameplay reveal there?
Yeah, I think they showed off some gameplay. A Gunk was announced like back in 2020 or some shit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, man. There's some pretty, there's some pretty chunky stuff in there. You know, I don't see why Xbox wouldn't take the stage with a bit more Redfall, especially with the way that's sort of looking. And I think they want to get the word out for that game and start sculpting people's minds to the vision that is that game. I wouldn't be surprised if that does take a pretty center stage. Again, Starfield, you know, maybe they'll show some more gameplay, clean up the frames a little bit, scrub up those frames. But I mean, there's just so much. Like, do you think we see Avowed because we didn't see it previously? Do you think this is a Gamescom thing? Probably not, right? But
just hang on, hold your horses. What they said was that we can expect updates on some announced games coming to Xbox in the next 12 months.
yeah, but Avowed. Oh yeah, because Avowed wasn't in the show for the next 12 months. Okay, yeah. We definitely won't see Avowed. We definitely won't see Contraband then, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it sounds like
Out.
Yeah, because I don't think that's coming in the next 12 months. Unless they just literally just couldn't fit it into the show. It is coming in the next 12 months and they put it in Gamescom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sounds like we'll see some more stuff that we kind of already saw, I guess.
Yeah. Like early 23 stuff, there was like Stalker, like Valheim, they didn't really show much attention to, but that was supposed to be early.
Yeah, I forgot about
23.
Stalker, yeah.
Yeah, things like that. I think it's wishful thinking for Starfield or Redfall to show up.
Really? I think we'll see Redfall.
Because they've got like BlizzCon or QuakeCon or whatever. Like, sorry, I'm being dumb. QuakeCon, not BlizzCon because BlizzCon is Blizzard, but QuakeCon is kind of like they tend to show quite a lot of Bethesda stuff off there. I don't know. I mean, it's not impossible, but like we've just had a showing. Like I don't know why.
I think
Redfall
we're more
would appear
likely
there
to
again.
see Redfall than Starfield. Whether or not we don't see either, I think
Yeah.
it's more likely that Redfall will be there over that. I think Starfield is probably a no-go, but I'd like to see more. And I mean, what else do you think we'll see then?
I think we see some more Pentiment. They have like a 10-minute sit
Yeah.
down with Josh Sawyers and like talk through the game, try and get people understanding what it is, because obviously it left people a bit confused. Maybe we see some more Minecraft Legends that had the same effects. People were like,
Oh,
okay,
what the
is it?
RTS one? Yeah,
Yeah, the RTS like action strategy game. Yeah.
yeah. We'll definitely. Yeah, I think we will see that. Yeah, you're right.
They might close out on Forza again, and Motorsport.
Yeah,
Show some more gameplay.
potentially, but then I mean that's you've just thrown that in there, but that was just shown. So what makes you think you say no to Redfall, but you say yes to Forza? They technically were both shown at the same place. Gameplay reveals.
Because it's a
What's the
Bethesda
difference?
thing, I don't think that they will have had the capacity to coordinate two shows. This
Another
close
gameplay
together.
slice ready for a different show. Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe.
Whereas for first party, Phil could have said in advance, have a big showing
I mean,
in
technically,
June, yeah, and
Bethesda
then
are
like have
first party.
you know what I mean. They work independently, so it's got to slow things down.
Yeah.
And then that strategy game, Ara, that they showed off. Do you remember?
Oh
So we
yeah,
only
the
saw
CGI thing with the bird flying over and stuff like that. Yeah, that one.
That's right. Yeah. So maybe
Lame.
some of that as well. Lame.
Lame.
And then I think, yeah, I think Stalker probably makes an appearance.
It'd be cool to see Stalker again. I feel like it's been a long time since I've laid my eyes on that game.
Maybe Scorn.
Swan. What was that other? No, Callisto Protocol. That doesn't have like an Xbox allegiance, does it?
No, it doesn't. I'm trying to think if there is anything that Xbox actually has a marketing partnership. Because you're right, there probably will be one or two third-party things in there, like they had Dying Light 2 last year. Maybe Callisto Protocol, maybe Suicide.
Because Callisto
Squad,
Protocol
maybe
was shown at the. Where was that gameplay slice we saw really recently? Where was
Summer
that
Games.
shown? That was Summer Games, was
Summer
it?
Games
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe Gotham Knights. Be another
Yeah.
one.
Midnight Suns?
So, that sounds, yeah, maybe. I think if they came out with like a Games Pass announcement for one of these things, that'd be pretty rad. Don't think it'll happen,
Yeah.
but maybe.
Oh, did you see that they just did, they said they added Captain America to Midnight Suns? He was a new
no, I didn't.
He was a new character reveal. Yeah.
I did
Captain
not think
America.
that I don't know, the tone of that game seems a bit off for Captain America, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw a news article that Captain America was added to Midnight Suns. Yeah.
I'm very excited for that game.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, I think it looks shit hot.
Especially when we had that, because I think we spoke about it a couple of weeks back, didn't we? Where like it was like a Slay the Spire kind of elements was what a lot of the previews had said from like the journal, like articles. That was like,
Yeah. Yeah. It was
yes,
Captain
I
America.
will take a couple to go, please. Yeah. Other than that, I think we see a couple of indies that we maybe haven't heard about in a while. Like I said, one of them Stray Blade. Maybe we hear from that replaced game, that pixel art kind of side scroller we saw about last year that got delayed. So yeah, expectations were low for this as always. Last year's Gamescom was pretty good, but don't go into it expecting unannounced stuff. Don't expect a VAL to show. Don't expect another gameplay showcase for Starfield. And then DLCs, maybe Obsidian show up and they talk about the full release of Grounded a little bit more.
And then they throw in some gameplay for Avowed while they're there, and
no
just
problem. Easy.
what just a little one more thing.
Yeah,
Avowed
right.
day one today.
Day one today. Day zero.
Yeah, I think I'd shit myself.
Yeah, I mean, if to be fair, like, and I probably shouldn't say this, but like, if there was a time where they were going to start thinking about just dropping like a random bit of news into a smaller show, it would be now. After they just focused on the 12 months thing, and we know that Xbox is still backed up. You know, like they've just had like a load of KFC. They're really backed up. Just need to get a little bit out.
Yeah.
So
Just eating like 30 bananas.
Yeah, or 30 bananas. That's right. So we will see a big doubt overall, but
Big doubt.
yeah, just expect a follow up on some other games we've already seen. That's usually the best way to go about these things.
I think it'll be pretty exciting, yeah. Also, yeah, they kind of announced like cloud gaming and stuff like that, which was just kind of like a tech showcase. So maybe we'll see some more on what were we talking about the other day? Oh no,
The
we were talking
portable.
about the Xbox handheld. No.
Yeah.
Why not?
Xbox handheld, let's go. Announced next month.
Day zero, free for everyone. Games Pass. They ship it to your house. The postcode registered to your Games Pass
With a pizza and a glass of milk.
Yeah, and a signed picture of Phil.
Has he signed it or has someone else signed it?
He signed it. It's not just signed by a random.
Phil
man.
has signed it.
And a bottle of fucking hand gel.
Bubbly. A hand gel. Okay.
Yeah, so you can jack off to Philly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Anyway, swiftly moving on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do that. Actually, well, no. What was it? There was a game in the showcase that we watched in June. There was like an indie game or two that we like really like the look of, but I'm really struggling to like name them. Flintlock.
Oh yeah, with the one with the magical teleporting ferret.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was Flint something. Whether it was Flintlock, I think it was Flintlock.
Yeah. I think it was LOK. Yeah.
Yeah, that looked cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have a look at Stray Blade. I recommend you to have a look at that
it's,
again.
Yeah, it's Flintlock.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, with just not LOK, just lock spelled normally. Just Flintlock.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And then I think, yeah, As Dusk Falls will already be out, so that will be done. Yeah, so, yeah, I think we get a follow-up on a lot of those games. I think we look at some of the indie, like the bigger indie games. Maybe we see a bit more of
I think we'll see like
Squad Studio.
Oh yeah,
My Life.
yeah, that. I was gonna say maybe new Plague Tale, maybe.
Yeah, that comes out in October. That's a good shout. That's a Games Pass game. So, yeah, that could very much make another appearance. Yeah, so I think it'll be a good show. Like I said, just don't go into it expecting first party big announcements. So you're just not going to get that here. But there's usually some decent stuff here. So has been for the last year anyway.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. It's in my calendar.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead to our last story because there was like this whole thing that happened where like people got angry about like Forza Horizon 5 not getting nominated for Game of the Year last year, which is still stupid. And there's the whole thing about God of War coming out in November and the the date for submission got extended, and some people felt that was like special treatment to make sure that God of War could be put into this year. And as like the story for what happened with Forza Horizon 5 kind of ended at a point where a lot of the panelists were confused, and the game came out at a bad time because apparently the submission date was extended last year. But panelists hadn't had enough time with it because, if you remember, it came out for a beta period a week earlier, and all of that overlapped with the extension, and they weren't sure if they could put it in, and they weren't sure if there was an extension for that game, so it ended up not getting enough votes. Because let's just reiterate, it is kind of crazy that Forza Horizon 5 didn't even get nominated for Game of the Year. Okay,
Yeah.
It won Best Sports Game. Of course it did. What was the competition? Like, but
No
best rating,
nomination. It's
whatever.
a bit of a kick in the nuts. Yeah.
It was the highest scoring game.
Yeah.
It was higher score than all of the other nominations.
Plus, it's like always nominated. So like, why not this year?
Yeah, so a lot of people were just trying to turn it into a conspiracy, like Jeff Keighley hates Xbox kind of thing, which really isn't it. And like I was speaking to some people on Twitter, and I was just like try to clarify a couple of things. Like, is it because like it seems my understanding and based on some of the reporting is that there was a lack of clarity so a lot of like panelists were confused and the journalists were confused around like the timings, and that resulted in Forza Horizon, and people were just calling me an expert and stuff like that. So don't even bother engaging. And I'm not cool. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just trying to understand like what like.
They're just rage-fueled keyboard warriors at that point, Deck. There's no reasoning with them.
I know. I think you're right. So the last story then for today is that E3 supposedly is properly and finally coming back next year.
Hey,
It's a thing now. Yeah. And that this time it's going to the ESA, so the Entertainment Software Association, which is the team and the organization that usually runs it, is partnering with ReedPop, the production company behind PAX, New York Comic Con, Star Wars Celebration, and EGX Res in the UK.
Hey.
So,
Nice.
how are we feeling about E3 season? Is this a good thing? Will Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation jump back into this, or won't they? Has Summer Game Fest been equally as good, or worse, or better? What do you think?
I think people will jump straight back in. I mean, E3's E3, man. It's just such an iconic name. It's such an iconic brand. As the biggest gaming showcase of the year, and with that coming back, I just think people will jump back on as if it wasn't missed. To be honest, I still think it will probably be the largest platform for them to showcase their upcoming stuff. At least that's just me. I just think that the sort of how long it's been going and how long it's been going for and how it's been doing and the ratings it gets, all the time back when it was a thing. Yeah, I just think it'll do that.
I suppose the proverbial, spanner in the works is that Jeff Keighley has been doing Summer Games Fest for a number of years now. And does that mean publishers now are going to have to pick and choose between E3 and Summer Games Fest? We might end up getting two semi-watered down events running in parallel one week after another. Maybe they come to some sort of agreement, and they say, right, you have this week, I'll have the next week. But then it's like, does Xbox really want to partner with both and spread their games across both, or do they just want have their so it starts to become messy then.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, and it might end up just not being beneficial for the consumer, and in the sense that not really much happens for both, sort of thing, rather than just having one big event where everything gets splashed out. Like you said, it's just watered down, and it's yeah, I kind of know what you mean. I mean, some deal will have to be struck, right? Because Summer Games Fest has gotten big. It's gotten great, in the absence of E3 especially. So yeah, something will have to be worked out for sure, that they can both share the spotlight, or kind of just like, I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know how it's going to work. But either way, I think E3 still stands tall as the giant over Summer Games Fest. With its returning brand, I just think it is, and it will.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it happens, because in a world where they don't come to an agreement, you could see different publishers going to different events for different deals, and then you've got PlayStation partnering with Summer Games Fest to have their show there, and then E3 partnering with Xbox to have their show there, and then it becomes like, if you remember the Summer Game Fest, when was it, 2020? I think that was maybe the first one. I can't remember, like maybe the first big one, but it went on for like 3 months, and
Did it really?
Yeah,
God.
like it was just, nobody liked it because it was just so spread out. There wasn't something like every day, obviously, but it was like essentially Jeff Keighley had just made agreements to get people to show stuff over a 3-month period, and so there was a calendar, and it's like, okay, it starts now in June and ends in August, and it's like, what? It's like, this isn't the same. This is just like a normal, like press schedule. It's just we're now slapping Summer Games Fest over the top, and that just felt kind of drawn out, and the worry is that might end up happening again if they're both competing for the same pie.
Yeah, potentially.
And I suppose the other angle here is the Xbox directly, like how they do their shows. I know the team likes to do these in-person shows, they've gotten good at doing them digitally now, and I don't think they ever got the in-person shows right. Like they got okay, but it always got like a bit faffy somewhere along the lines. Like they definitely got better because in like 2019, we've spoken about this before. They had the Elden Ring showing. They had Cyberpunk. We had Cyberpunk there with like Keanu Reeves went to the stage and the whole breathtaking thing happened.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's gotten better, but do you know what I mean? The format of these digital shows has just been like game. Talk to me for a minute and a half. Game. Whereas like you're not what are you paying for with the stage if you're not going to use it and have people talking there? Do you know what I mean? Like you almost it necessitates more chatty shows.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It might end up just diluting the show with a lot more crap.
That's right.
Rather than just getting down to the point and just giving people what they want. I agree with that. Especially as some moments in previous E3s have been cringe factor 1000. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. So
Right,
that's the only downside because, as far as I know, Summer Games Fest has always been digital. I think. So that's the other side of it. You know, E3 charge a lot of money, from what I understand, to be part of it. I don't know if Summer Game Fest if they've started doing that Summer Games Fest or not. So you know, we'll have to see how it all pans out. But it's all hunky dory. Either way, I think we're all in agreement that we like having a week where lots of stuff gets announced. That's it essentially. We all like having a week or two where it's like gaming Christmas and there's loads of new games to show and there's loads of anticipation building up to it. Like we all like that. So as long as it's not drawn out and it still has that same spirit, I think most people are going to be happy.
Agreed.
Okay. We're done. We did it. Long show, that was.
That was a long show. Yeah, in a very hot room. Genuinely, my shirt is sticking to me.
Really? Is it that bad?
It's really hot in here. Yeah, like it's super, super crazy hot. I probably could have cranked open the window, but because we don't tend to open up windows because she's got like a cat and it might just like jump out onto like the road or something. So like I guess it's just I guess I'm just not in the habit of doing it here. But yeah, I probably could have cranked open a window because I've got the door closed and everything. So, but yeah, no, it's pretty hot in here, man.
That's right. We're all done now. You can shower off.
Oh my god.
Right. Well, great. Okay, this all worked fine by the looks of it. I'm gonna like play back the stream and it's like gonna be muted or something.
Yeah, the whole time. Yeah. Oh, I had the intro jingle running this whole time.
Yeah. Woo! Let's go.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm kidding. Your face, you're like
the double bluff.
Yeah, your face is actually like he's not fucking serious, is he? Oh god, no, I haven't.
So, okay, great. Let's say our goodbyes then. Let's get out of here. Tim, say goodbye.
Bye. Goodbye, everyone.
Run.
It's been a pleasure.
See you next week.
Bye bye. Bye. Oh yeah, I need to end it. I forgot. Bye.
Bye.